All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Fireside Yarns. I'm your host, Reese. With me always, Mr. Vinno, Mr. Dave. How are we, boys?
Good, man.
Ripping it up.
Fucking
Ripping it
wet,
up.
but good.
Very wet. Very wet. Yep, definitely. So, episode 6, kicking it on, keeping it rolling. We're the steam's pouring out of the old Fireside, mate. We're on a roll here. Roll.
Choo choo.
Choo choo.
Is that how you do it, Vinno? Choo choo.
No, it's just a little fucking toggle now, mate. We don't even have the pull cord no more. It's bullshit.
Hey,
That's bullshit.
Has it been like
half of the competencies out the window.
So, what's that?
That's half of the competencies out the window now. Anyone can do it.
Anyone can. Yeah.
Well, in all seriousness, has it been like that since you started?
Oh, there's a few logos getting around, man, that have got the old pull cord, but there's a few
for anyone just tuning in that's not aware, Mr. Vincenzo is a train driver, so this is how we've got reliable information here. Have you driven any of those locos, mate?
I have.
Do you get real horny in it?
No, I'm not a gunzel. Okay. So a gunzel's right. I'll explain for those that don't know. We could,
yeah, please do, because I am one of these.
Yeah, so a gunzel is one of those people that we call or name the people that are on the side of the tracks taking photos and just full on loving trains.
Train spotters.
Yeah, train spotters, the ones that get really excited. You see,
dude's name that does the videos.
Oh yeah, no, he's a lord.
Where's the camera? Man,
yeah, he is a lord, man. Like
I can watch that dude flat out. I don't remember his name. That's going to bug me now.
We'll look it up.
Is it harmless though, Vinno, or do they follow you home and stuff?
It is harmless. There is some man that are fucking
absolute.
Yeah, there is one that we used to go to school with, Dave, that bailed me up in Bunnings one day, and it was really aggressive. Like he is harmless, and he was harmless on this day, but when he originally pulled me up, he was really aggressive. Like, because we were getting around the valley with 3 locomotives on the front, which for the company that I'm with, we weren't really doing that. We're only running what we call a double header, so 2 locomotives at the front. And I was
that might have even got me to do that to you in Bunnings.
Look, it might have done.
3.
But he bailed me up.
It was 4. Yeah.
Well, I thought like he bailed me out, and I'm just walking through, and he's coming, and he's gone, I saw your trains getting around with 3 logos the other day, and I'm like, oh, okay, and off he went, and that was like, and I'm like,
That's awesome.
what the fuck? Anyway, and I could see him like following.
That is impressive.
Yeah, well, I could see him like coming back. He was like a shark, just circling fucking prey, man. And he came up again.
No.
And yeah. So I'm in a completely different section, different aisle, because I fucking hot-footed it out of there. After that, I was like, that is the weirdest interaction I've ever had.
Is that how you treat your fans?
Look, yeah, probably, because if you're going to be that fucking weird and awkward, yeah, I'm gonna hot-foot it.
And do you know why though? Because you've made it.
That's what it is. We warned you. This is Beatles shit now.
Yeah, this is. His attitude at home has extended into his famous life outside.
Oh, fuck off,
Yeah.
God. Fuck off.
You can't have it both ways, Vinno. You can't be a man of the people and a celebrity at the same time.
I can be, but I'm just not going to be one that fucking gets weirded out in the middle of Bunnings. Like, Bunnings is my sanctuary. If I'm over at fucking Bunnings, just unless you're coming to talk about tools and shit, leave me alone, because that's me fucking. That's my happy place.
Isn't a locomotive a tool?
No.
You sure?
It's a vehicle. Yeah, shut the fuck up, Reese.
It's also, when you're at Bunnings, well, sometimes when I'm at Bunnings and you run into me, it might be that I'm at Bunnings for the 3rd time that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, cause whenever I've got like a project or something, and when I get there, like, all right, it's time to go. It's like, first thing is shit. So I have to go back and I have to get something and it's the wrong size and it's constantly. So don't fuck with me. Nod. You know, like in cars, the way there's car etiquette and you'll raise your fingers and all. And I think it should be the same in Bunnings. I think we should, even though it's recreational, it's still, there's work to be done, you know?
Yeah.
Well, maybe by the snag stand. It depends how close you are with the person as well. Not if it's to talk about, look, I saw what you were doing at work.
I hadn't spoken to this guy. And look, don't get me wrong, he is a lovely guy. really lovely. I'm not going to mention his name or
who is
anything
it?
like that. I'll tell you afterwards. I'm not going to mention his name, just because he is.
God bless him, though. That's
yeah,
not-
absolutely. Look,
Yeah,
he is a really nice
No, all
guy,
love.
and
Yeah.
you know, I couldn't help but laugh. But I hadn't spoken to him since I'd spoken to him once since high school, and that was probably 2 years after we finished high school. And this was this interaction happened back in 2018.
Different times.
So,
2
yeah.
years after you finished high school.
Yeah, no.
22-year-old Vinno over here.
We just like to
Back
point
Vinno.
out that Vinno had a very hard time at school, being the bully and all, and clearly the stresses showed in his aging. You
It's
know?
schooner school.
It might have only been a couple of years since he finished school, but just don't, you know,
Fuck,
it's been hard.
do not take any notice of these two fuckwits.
God.
I was a durry salesman at school, all right? I fucking sold
Well, it's a
durries.
stressful job. It's a stressful
God
job.
bless
It's a
you.
stressful job. You've
God
got to
bless.
you've got to
You've probably
maintain your
helped a lot
turf,
of people.
mate. You've got to maintain your turf.
You do, and you probably helped a lot of people through some very stressful times. So
I did.
you know,
I did.
I'll be thinking of you on my deathbed.
Some might think of you.
And they're telling me
think of
about
as
my
a
lung
therapist. Hey, I didn't force them
You're
down your
with you.
throat. You just came to me for them.
He used to give me two for $1 because I was his friend. Yeah.
yeah, and then
Sometimes I
you
wouldn't
repaid
even-
it with a tongue and a durry.
Sometimes I wouldn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
charge you. There you go.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah,
fresh.
that's what friends do.
Was a fresh deck. You'd get freebies.
Oh, how good's that?
Fucking,
What
hey?
an entrepreneur.
Even at a Friday special.
We had a.
You really?
You know who else? was
5
your
for $10.
competitor? You remember Bucko?
I got some cunt one day with that.
$2 a pop was what you sold it for anyway.
No, it was $1 a pop, but this cunt came up to me and fucking wanted. Originally, he wanted to buy like 15. And I'm like, mate,
And
yeah, I said, I'm not selling you 15 durries. Because I think I had fuck all left in the pack at the time. I'm like, I'm not selling you 15 durries. And he's like, oh, well, can you do me a deal? And jokingly, I said, I'll do you 5 for 10. He went, yeah, righto. So he fucking gave me $10. They paid $2 for the durry. And I just stood there bewildered. Like, I thought, surely he's going to come back. No. Never crossed his mind.
How much are smokes now? If you're a boy, how much is like a pack of 20 now?
I wouldn't-
Or
I
whatever.
couldn't
like
tell you.
$50.
Well, then it's
Yeah.
probably worse now.
Yeah.
When I
Think about
finished, when I quit smoking, man, it was fucking. What were they? It was about $30 for a 20 pack.
To make like percentage wise, probably what, you know, for inflation of what they are now, people like to make the money that you probably made off it back in high school are probably having to sell them for like $15 each.
Probably.
Like one cig, $15.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate, it's inflation. Imagine there's some little 14, 15.
Sorry, man. Supply issues. We fucking,
Going
me,
around
brother,
singing oh, hi.
me older brothers moved out and fucking got supply issues.
I can't pinch them anymore. I'm going to pay for them.
Mum found me fake
Fuck.
ID, mate. I've got to fucking go somewhere else for me fucking.
Hold on, scan the QR code. Mate, it's real
Oh,
serious now. You could get pulled up on.
Well, they don't sell them. I think we mentioned this before. They don't sell them to. Or is that's in New Zealand? You can't buy them if you're.
Yeah. If you were born after a certain year or something.
Yeah.
No, they definitely brought that in, yeah.
I think in New Zealand they have. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't.
And there's a kick. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so you can't go and buy. You could, if you get caught smoking, I don't think there's a fine or anything, but you can't. In 20 years' time, they won't legally be allowed to go and buy cigarettes because that law's in place. So.
I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I get it. If you're going to make weed illegal, then fucking ciggy should be illegal. I don't know how I feel about it, you know what I mean? What happens?
I don't know.
People be just going to get on the fucking,
Meth.
Look,
What are
I
they
think
gonna do?
going
Just
down that pathway where kids that are 5 years old now, making it so that they can never buy cigarettes, they won't know the difference. In a sense, I mean, I think if you went in there and said to somebody who's been smoking for 50 years, you can no longer buy smokes, that's a different story because they're at the point where they either can't quit or they don't want to. Yeah, I'm torn there, and I'm not just
it's
being a
definitely a
reformed
thoughtful
smoker.
policy, though, right?
It is, yeah.
I mean, they did think of what you were saying. They thought about having it with specific ages and aging it out. That's pretty good.
Yeah. And I think that's the way to go. Yeah. If you're gonna phase it out, and it's been coming. I mean, ever since we've been growing up, like they've always been going up in price. So there's always been talk since we were on.
It's such a foolish thing to do, isn't it? But like have you all smoked? I've smoked.
Yeah.
We've all. Oh.
Yeah.
It's fucking. You think about how much money and how hard it is to fucking stop, dude. It was hard, eh?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But you think about it, even when you were living there, and it wasn't Macquarie Street. I just know it was near the BP.
The Shack 35 Mac Street. Yo,
there you go. Yeah,
the Shack on Mac.
Fuck, we were all loving it then, man. Like we'd spend the time at the pub in the smoking area because you could chill out, and that's where a lot of our friends.
I was still doing that until I stopped smoking.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're a come and go smoker. You've quit that many fucking times and started back up. Like,
yeah, but I will, in my defense, when I have quit, it's always been for an extended period of time. It's not like I quit for 2 months and picked it up again.
Yeah.
First time I quit, I stopped for like nearly 4 years. The second time I quit, I stopped for nearly 2 years.
Was that when you were straight edge?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It was.
That was when you were like full reform smoker mode. You were just XXX.
CM Punk.
Yeah. You were just fucking slapping durries out of my mouth and shit. Like you were fucking.
I do you a favour.
You were militant fucking anti-smoker then, man.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Well, it's fucked. You don't get anything of it. Is there anything else that's as bad for you that you get nothing from? Like you could say, oh, alcohol's bad. It fucking does this, does that, and it might make you more violent and bad for sugar. Oh, no, but sugar tastes good. You know what I mean? As in, like sugar, and you do need a certain amount of sugar in your life,
but not processed sugar. Like if you had raw natural sugar.
So would you ban processed sugar?
Yep.
Listen to this,
cultural dishes
straight down the line.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fucking burn that sugar. Go fuck yourself.
It's just because he's
fuck eating too. Inject us.
He's just started not having sugar in his coffee, so now he's just fucking anti-sugar.
I still have sugar in my coffee. What are you talking about?
You didn't the other day. You when I said I have 2 sugars in my coffee at your place, you were like, "You fucking what, mate?" Like you were, and
I have one.
Just punched him in the face.
Yeah. He was standing over the bench.
Anna has no sugar in her coffee.
You said to me,
"This is like you better be talking about kissing, motherfucker."
I said I don't care if I don't have sugar.
Right, yeah.
I do have one.
Your reaction was different. It was full on.
That's your opinion.
You fucking what, mate? I've got a witness. Anna.
Yeah.
Anna. He'll verify it. Oliver. He'll verify it. He'll come in here fucking stark naked, man, and verify it on this microphone.
You know what? I'd believe it.
Yeah. You bully.
He might. I wouldn't Spartan kick him out of the room.
I've never Spartan kicked him.
That is
probably deserved it.
Oh no, you were there. You were the eyewitness, aren't you?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
I am the witness.
He's not a fucking witness. You can't like if you're going to get in the witness stand and fucking lie your teeth out, you're not a witness.
Hand on my heart.
Oh shit.
I don't even know what that means.
No, but bit off topic. Back to what we were saying.
Oh, why do you got to be so structured about it?
Yeah, true. You're right. 100% right.
Out of business, please.
No, I was wanting to get back to Vinno fucking pulling the horn on the loco. Yeah. So like, old mate, you didn't really finish what you were saying about old mate.
Sorry, yeah. So I moved aisles in Bunnings, and he was almost circling me like a shark because I saw him go past the aisle a couple of times. I'm like, fuck, we got to move. And I've got like my wife, like Rin, and we didn't have Oliver at the time. And we're trying to, I said, we're just going to go. We got to get to another aisle. It was like fucking some horror movie type shit. Next minute he's come up and he's gone, I've never seen you guys run around with 3 locos in the front before. I'm like, because we haven't, mate. Like, they've just started doing it. And off he went again. I'm like, fuck, we got to get out of here, man. Like,
that's so weird.
But then he ended up stopping and having a full
conversation. Did he not ask why?
He did eventually. But, and see, this is the thing. If he had have stopped and the conversation had have just been a full conversation, just said, hey, I saw those 3 locos getting around. and then had the full conversation, it would have been somewhat normal, but it was the way that he pulled me up was so aggressive because he pointed like it was like I'd kicked his dog or something, man. He's just pulled
my dog.
Yeah, he's just pulled up and gone, I saw your 3 locomotives getting around the other day. I'm like, oh, fuck, right, mate. Like, I didn't know how to take it to start with because it was so aggressive. I thought,
but it's lovely, isn't it lovely?
It is. Like, and like I said, we stopped because he caught me and I ended up in the tool section and he fucking caught up with me then. And I made a point of stopping him and having the conversation.
Yeah.
Because obviously it was obvious that he was interested and he loves trains.
So you do treat your fans with respect.
I do. So you fucking sold me short. You sold me short. What a dog.
Yeah, that's what I do.
But I stopped him and I said, yeah, mate, and started talking him through why we'd done it and all the technicalities and all that sort of stuff and the different classes of locomotives and why we had to run 3 as opposed to 2. And he enjoyed it. Yeah. Sorry.
Is it a load thing? Like, why,
it's a weight. It's a weight thing. So, obviously, to get traction onto the rail, you need to have the weight there. And then you've got that extra the power. So you got your power to weight ratios for different locomotives. Each different company uses different locomotives.
So obviously, does it help with braking as well?
Not necessarily. No.
Really? No. Okay.
No. If you're loaded, we're
I would have thought it would if you got an extra third of the weight on you. I thought that it would.
When you're loaded, man, we're 10,000 tons loaded, right? It's a kilometre and a half. The trains that we're running. One extra locomotive isn't going to do shit. And not only that, when you're making a train brake application or applying brake to those wagons, you're bailing off, which means you take the brakes off the locomotives so that you don't get a smack in the arse. Because if those wagons come in and hit you too hard, it can essentially derail you.
Yeah.
And knock you off the rails, and then you're fucking in for a world of hurt. Plus, it knocks your coffee and shit everywhere. But
the most important part.
Fucking oath it is.
You think he's trying?
I'm with you. I agree.
We fucking toast.
Yeah, man. There's some older drivers, man. There's some older drivers. If you knock their coffee,
Vinno be stand at the door and go, "Oh, me Dari."
Who the fuck put the brakes on the third locomotive?
Yeah.
Have you ever been in one of those trains where there's a fella wearing like a hat like we are, fucking shoveling coal into the
old steam train? Nah. So they're almost a specialised thing now. You do get them running around.
Diesel, right?
The picnic trains. Yeah, the ones we're running. Yeah, the ones we're running.
Yeah, all diesel now, are they?
Most of them are diesel electric. When you get into suburban areas, they're electric. They're the ones with the power over the top and all that. But so we're diesel electric. We've got a diesel engine, and instead of having a gearbox on the back of your engine, you've basically got a massive alternator. Well, not basically, it is a massive alternator. So the drive motors that are on the wheels are electric.
Like the haul trucks we have at work.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. Well, not exactly the same, but similar. Yeah. But so there is diesel electric is what we're running.
Yeah.
The coal trains, like the steam trains that you see getting around, the picnic trains and stuff, they're a novelty thing now, and they're another qualification altogether.
Yeah, right.
So and there's I know a couple of guys that do get involved with those, and they love it. Like they love driving. I don't think there's anybody, even if you're not into trains, there's not anybody that wouldn't stand there and appreciate a fucking steam locomotive rolling by. Like, it's a bit of history.
What would you say to somebody if they didn't appreciate it?
Get the fuck out.
Reese/Vinno.
If you don't like it, you can get the fuck out. Pretty much.
Yes.
That's exactly what I would say to them.
Let off some steam.
Yeah.
Steam engine.
Hey. Wait, I think I've got one of them too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, you can hear it from our place every now and again. You hear the steam train come through, the picnic train when they're running it. It's just
what kind of sounds do they make, Vinno?
Well, if you've ever watched Thomas the Tank Engine,
Imagine he's like,
I've seen someone Tank Engine do a pretty good rendition of Biggie, actually.
Come on, motherfuckers, come on.
Did you do Beat It, Vinno?
Yeah. Because the one
sound like Michael Jackson's Beat It. Imagine that every day. Down, no.
That would actually be pretty good.
It would. I'd be all about it. Is.
I probably would have started driving trains earlier than what I did.
The train to drive you, if that's what. That's
fucking oath it was. It would. Yeah.
Have you ever had a train run on you?
Run in on me?
Yeah. Have you ever had a train run in on you?
When you're early learning, yeah, I did. Yeah, because and my trainer, he was a champion, and I specifically said, "What's it like when a train runs in?" And he deliberately sort of didn't tell me to put brake in at a certain point, and I got a hit, what we call a hit up, and he went, "That's what it feels like," and it was only a mild one. But he said, "Imagine that with the full force because you've made a mistake." And I was like, "Yeah, fuck." So you did it to get an appreciation, and when you're learning, if you don't get those little hits, you won't get an appreciation. And for the couple of fellas that I've taught, I said to them, if once you're signed off as a driver, that's their time to really spread their wings, and they'll get put with someone who's new. And as I've said to them, if you don't get more hit-ups in that stage because you're trying new things and you're trying to better yourself as a driver, then you're not having a go.
Yeah.
And it's, it all depends on whether you're loaded or you're empty, what train you're driving, whether it's a short one, whether it's a long one. Like there's a fair bit in it. And I mean, I know our mates fucking have a crack and said all you do is sit there and push a button. And if you're doing your job right, it might seem like that's all you're doing. But we're
work
paid
smarter and harder, right?
Yeah. We're paid for what we know. We got to know a hell of a lot of stuff to get on the network.
Stupid hours, stupid rosters. The danger that you face, like, mate, the amount of people that I've heard stories from, like, train drivers have been through, like, have the potential to witness and go through some pretty hairy shit, man. Like,
yeah, touch wood, I haven't had anyone push the limits too much on a level crossing or anything.
Yeah.
There has been people that have, people just cut it too fine, or they don't want to be sitting there for too long. And like I said, we're 1.5 kilometres long, and loaded we're
you ain't stopping in a short time.
No. But I mean, maximum speed when we're loaded is 60 k's, but 60 k's when you're that heavy is quick sometimes. Sometimes we'll be sitting there going, "Oh, fuck. It's a slow trip, you get used to it." But when you're coming through some of those level crossings and, school holidays, and you can see the traffic banking up, and you're just watching those cars, you're waiting for somebody to do something stupid. Yeah. And you're just waiting for it. And, like I said,
definitely get the old heart pumping.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not much we can do. And it might sound pretty callous, but all we can really do is throw a full application, go to emergency, pull the blinds down, because there's nothing else we can do then. If someone's stupid enough,
that's not callous, man. That's just you doing what you have to do. Like,
but it's you pull the blinds down, and whatever happens, because at the end of the day, somebody else has made that decision to do that.
Yeah.
So, if we've made that brake application, there's nothing else we can do. Just sit back and deal with the consequences afterwards. But, unfortunately, there is a couple of fellas that I have worked with that have been involved in those sorts of situations, and a fella that I have worked with has been in a complete derailment. So they hit a truck, and it brought the train off, and it rolled their train, and they were sitting in the cab, and the cab was full of diesel, and that was surprising because he's really, really nice guy, pretty quiet. And out of nowhere, he just started talking about that, and I just thought, holy fuck, didn't realise that, mate. Yeah. Been involved in 2 incidents like that. So.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
In regards to, obviously current situations, and I don't want to harp on about the same thing for weeks in a row, but obviously we've spoken about the floods and stuff the last couple of weeks, and but you know, it's all been away from us. But this week we're all experiencing what the places we spoke about have to an extent. Probably not as bad, but there's potential for it still.
Yep.
I know rivers aren't supposed to peak until tomorrow here, but in regards to your job, like I know you drive on pretty remote lines most of the time, and I think the lines that you drive on are probably going through those areas. Does that, obviously the weight you're carrying is pretty full on, does that stop you guys running, or are you able to just kind of chug on through it? Like,
what you'll find a lot is the road is lower than what the railway line is. Where the railway line runs is along the base of the mountains in a lot of those areas that you're talking about. So if the river comes up high enough that it's covering the rail, you know, yeah, we would pull up. You don't be running through it, but there's some serious shit going on if the rail's fucking underwater. Like, people have lost houses, and we're in a massive incident. More so, like, not saying that we're not in one at the moment with some of the areas that are underwater, but the route that the railway takes is slightly different. But yeah, it very much so. So once you get down towards your way down there in Newcastle, once the water is over the railway and you can't see the rail and stuff, you just stop, because there has been incidents and some recently where if you're moving quickly, or even just, you know, washaways, it doesn't take
like
much.
it'll pick up a ship, you know what I mean?
Well, Pasha and all that back in the day.
Now, you said you're at the base of mountains. Some of the you just have to worry about landslides. I hear there's a lot of that shit going on as well.
Yeah, there has been.
Yeah, one down the Putty this afternoon, mudslide.
All right.
Yeah,
that's scary looking when you see it happening.
You're always vigilant, man. When you have a look at what's holding us on the rail, it's a very small flange on the wheel, essentially, that's holding us on there. So
that's what she said. Opportunity.
Yeah, it was fully.
I'm not going to take it.
I was waiting. That's what I sort of paused. I was waiting for the moment. I was sitting there thinking, the moment I say fucking flange,
everyone loves.
There's got to be. There's got to be a "that's what she said" in cinema that we can get on that soundboard, so you can be like, "That's what she said." Or it's The Office.
Do you watch The Office? Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say yeah.
There's a million opportunities for
That's what she said.
Thank you.
But anyway, sorry, Vinno, go on.
So you
have to take that opportunity.
You do, and I prepared for it, but no one took it at the time. Yes, we're late, but
stop giving us opportunities.
But yeah, like, there's not much holding us on that. Essentially, it's more so the weight and you know, the smallest thing. Wombats, man, have derailed trains.
They are tough motherfuckers.
They are, man, and
seen them roll cars, like
an empty wagon with a big wombat.
That,
yeah, they're just
not fucking around.
Huge, like flesh rock. Huge. That's what they are.
But because they're mobile and they get in between the two rails, man. Like, an empty wagon, if that runs over a fucking wombat, it can do damage. So.
Poor wombat too, you know, like,
man,
in for a ride,
like, where do I go?
He's just trying to get on with life. Next minute, this fucking big train's coming through on top of him. Yeah, look.
But at the same time, he took that choice. He was like, "This is the best time to cross right now." And it's like, wombat, please. You know what I mean? Like, please, wombat.
Don't do it, you dumb motherfucker.
Whatever.
Yeah, look, it's like any job. It's got its risks, but I enjoy it. I really do. It's something different, and it beats being on the tools, because I was, like, as you know, I was a mechanic for. I finished school and did an apprenticeship, and I was a mechanic. So it's nice to do something different.
It is a nice change to be off tools. I will.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're operating now too, Reece. You're in the mines, and it's nice to, as I say to people when they ask. In summer, I'm in an air-conditioned cab. In winter, I'm in a heated cab, you know, most of the time. We do get out and do some stuff on the ground, a fair bit of stuff on the ground as well. You know, there's a lot of aspects to the job. But you get to see some unreal scenery. The hours are shit, and that's the worst part about the job. Is the start times and all
you know
that.
what? That's the same with my job too.
Yeah, you get
Shift work is the shit part, man. And the rest of the job's pretty enjoyable.
and that's where the people that you work with really pull through. And
I'm pretty lucky there, man. I work with a lot of good people.
So do I, man. Our depot, the people in our depot that I'm at are fucking unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, anywhere you go, you're going to get your odd thought. And, you know, some people there probably think I'm a fucking cunt or an odd thought and that, but they are, yeah, of course. Yeah, I'd be fucking, if they don't think that I'm like,
we're all just jealous, mate, because you're a lord. That's all it is.
But, here he comes. Here he comes. I'm going to talk to him. No. Wait for Bunnings. We'll approach him at Bunnings. He'll love that.
You bow to the Lord.
Yeah.
And he'll appreciate me.
But you know, look, the people that I work with are fucking unreal, and it can make or break the shift. You know, if you're with someone who's good and they're funny, or you get along with them, they're shit hours. You know, starting at 1 o'clock in the morning. No one wants to be doing that, and you're always tired. Doesn't matter how much sleep you've got, and you're always going to be tired. And if you're with someone who's, you know, a good person or just good value and understands the job and can help you get on with it, makes a difference. Yeah,
well, you're spending a third of your life with this person as well.
Yeah,
like, you can do. If you're with the same person,
be happy with who you work with.
Yep. If you're with the same person, or regular mates is what we call them. Yeah, you know, essentially, for a whole swing, that's who you're seeing pretty much, because you'll start maybe at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then when you get home, your family's at work and school and stuff, and when you're getting back up, they're all in bed, and you're going to work again. So the only person that you do see is the person at the desk when you sign on, and your workmate. So
yeah, that's one thing. Doing like working over night time and, you know, living or, you know, being partners or married to people that don't do shift work, and like when you're on night shift, man, like it's nothing. Like you feel like you don't see them for days. Like it's tolling on your home life and you as a person as well. Like especially when you get, you know, like I've seen it heaps at my work where, like, you know, you might get out late and you miss that opportunity just to say good morning to your partner before they start work, because you get home 20 minutes later, and then it's like you go to sleep for the day, and then you wake up and you go back to work. Like you just, and that little 20 minutes can just mean a better mood.
Huge, absolutely, man.
You know, like, and it affects you. Like, and
that's,
you're kidding yourself if you think it doesn't, man. It's a
and that's where
it's like, you know, it's an aura around you as well. Even when you're like walking around during the day and it's pretty much dead in cities and shopping centers and all, and you're not waiting in lines for anything, and when you're driving, really, there's no traffic. You're kind of operating outside of society, really. Yeah, you know what I mean. It is a weird thing. It is a very weird thing.
Yeah,
it is, and unless you've sort of done that sort of work, it's hard to get an appreciation for it. And
not easy, I should say.
It's so weird too. Before I started or ever done shift work, well, I mean, years back when I was like 18, 19, I was working at Woolies. I did like the night fill for a while where I was doing like midnight till 8. That was shit. You know, times in the bakery as well, starting to work like 2 a.m.
Yeah, fucking bakers, man. They've got a hard bakers.
Yeah, dude, that's a shit work hours, man. Like,
they got to get bread to everyone before fucking day open. You know, it's pretty fucked.
Yeah, it is. And like, I did it then, but like, I didn't do it for long because I was like, fuck this. Like, but I was only young then, you know, like you're like 18, 19, like you don't give a fuck about your job that much back then. Like, it was just a means
better money as well.
For me, you know, like
you
know, so I didn't give a fuck, man. Like I was calling in sick, showing up late. Like I didn't give a fuck. Like, but you know, you sort of, when you get older, you kind of, I guess, become more reliable, and I guess that's part of just growing up or whatever. But like, I was looking forward to starting shift work before I started doing it. It's like, fuck, man, what was I looking forward to? Like,
dickhead.
It's a bit of a trip. You're getting a little bit extra money. You're operating. It is a bit like a shake-up when you've got the responsibilities you wouldn't have now. Then, and you can pull up after nights, and it sets you up for nights as well on the weekend. If you're doing night shift, but you get the weekend off, you're up. You're awake, motherfuckers. You're ready to party. You know what I mean? And when everyone's getting off work and they have to go home and get ready, you're like, okay, it's Saturday night and I've been a fucking, you know what I mean? I'm ready now. You know, so it had its positives, and generally, like you were saying, Reese, back then you're not really working for your career or whatever. You're like, you take those night shifts because it gives you those extra bucks.
He's just working to be able to afford the durries. That's it.
Yeah. And you get to smoke more on night shift. There's all these little perks of being on night shift that you don't have to deal with customers. And
that was one thing I did like. One thing I did like. Yeah. That and like, you could go and have a smoke whenever you wanted because there was no bosses around to tell you what to do. Like, so you just be like, I've rewarded myself. I've put away 5 apples today. I'm going to go have a ciggy. Like, you know.
You could do it,
Working hard for the money.
Yeah, that's right. You know,
I just made
like, oh man, when I was in the bakery making donuts, I know why I put on one.
Yeah, you fucking put them away.
Donuts, man. We used to like go and pinch meat out of the fucking butcher section and put it in the ovens and cook pizzas and shit with like fresh steak and.
Fuck, you're gonna have the Woolworths coming back at you, man, with a lawsuit.
Fucking, it's not like they don't have enough money. Fucking dogs.
Giants. Woolworths are fucking giants, eh?
Fuck yeah, they are, man. Yeah. I did have
supermarkets
really
in general.
They're not called meager markets.
Yeah,
that's right.
And there was a period there when it was like Macca, Stouty, fucking Hicksy, all of us, man. We were all working at Woolies together, and it was a time.
Yeah,
remember old Gallery Street Mall? I used to have that little side entrance where everyone would pop out and smoke on the bench, and it'd always be like Hicksy, Reese, someone like that, and like some middle-aged woman having a smoke.
Always. Rip it, man. Hicksy was a machine, man. That dude used to be able to rip darts so quick on our breaks, man.
Yeah. He's a smoking motherfucker.
He is. Still loves it. Bless him. Bless him. He was the one that got me smoking originally. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, we were all there. We were all by that tree, by that little gym area.
Oh yeah, but that was before we went out the back there. He he had started because Troy, his older brother, had started smoking. And,
he was smoking when I moved there. That's why I gravitated towards Hicksy and people who are smoking.
Yeah, well, I was smoking by then as well. Yeah, because Troy had started, and then Sean obviously started from that, and then it wasn't long after Sean started that I did.
Surprising. They're athletes. Like their whole family were like squash fucking legends.
Fuck yeah.
Like, they were fucking like it's already been squashed. You know what I mean? Like you go to their house.
Squashed.
Yeah. Oh, it's not squash anymore when the Hicksies come along. It's like you squash. Sean Hicks.
I did not know.
Very competitive. Man,
you go to their house and they'd have a wall full of trophies. And I'd be like, oh my God, man, you're like the best squash player ever. And so I'd be like,
yeah. Humble too. So that's nice.
Yeah.
He's as humble with his squash abilities as he's with his sauce.
Oh.
Don't question it.
He's not devilishly gorgeous eyes. Man. My missus M's addicted to that sweet chili sauce now, so she puts that on everything now. So we're basically out of it. That's fucking good.
Actually, speaking of hot sauces, this is just a Coles. I brought it in here because
I've seen that on the shelf. Yeah,
what's it called?
It's called Cholula.
Flip it up there.
So it's almost like the Jamaican bobsled Cholula.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
And what is it? What's the chili? Is it just red chili or is it a specific?
Red chilies, man. But it's like kind of like salsa-y flavor. It's like kind of, I don't know, dude. It's like, it's not super hot. It's got a little bit of heat. It's nothing extreme. Just really fucking tasty. I bought my first bottle of this probably
Would you rate it against 60s? If you rated it against 60 sauce, what would it be? As far as tastiness.
It's different, dude.
Yeah, which sauce? Because he's got a Worcestershire sauce that I think is one of the best sauces
ever. Yeah. In regards against his chili sauce, I can't compare it because that's a sweet chili.
Yeah.
It's so different, man. Like,
it's also fucking very hot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
that's
very
hot or manageable.
I know he was trying to do something, for us for the side. I would actually love to try that sweet chili a little bit milder. So it was more taste.
Yep.
So
You hear that,
Hicksy,
Hixie? You hear that?
I'd say 7 habaneros
Well, I've got-
a bottle
instead of 40.
Maybe instead
Well,
of 40 per
I've
bottle
got a heap
per
of
spoonful.
those. I've got a heap of those Ebony Fires ready to go, and then a heap of tires sitting on my tree.
that'd
So
be nice.
I might pick those, and when we do our next in person, I'll get him to have them ready. I've got to get onto him about some of that hot sauce because a few of the boys at work have been asking about it. So they can.
But yeah, I that sauce I've been having, like I've demolished a bottle so quick.
Would you rate it higher than like a sriracha?
Yeah, this is better than sriracha. Yeah,
Okay, I'll give it a shot because
Probably-
sriracha's like our main condiment, I'd say, at our house right
yeah.
now.
I've got
You
sriracha as
replaced it.
well, but this at the moment, this is my like go-to sauce.
Yeah,
And that's Reese's hot sauce of the week. Hit the music. Yeah, we're gonna have to fucking make something for that.
Yeah,
now.
you're gonna have to now. But yeah, I would give it. Just get it at Coles, man. It's $5 for a bottle, and
Fuck
it's
yeah.
I enjoy it.
Get your holes to cold.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Fuck yeah. But
Get your hole to cold.
I mean, speaking of hot sauces and being in person, it's this week coming, the weekend we were supposed to be getting together. Well, there's still a chance. There still might be a chance. We don't know yet.
I'm not. I don't think we can risk it because it's so
It is
unpredictable, and
It is risky.
you know, and also, I don't want to put any pressure for anything. You know what I mean to happen when you know what I mean when it's fucking there's some dangerous shit going on. Like, and I've seen what Singo's looking like now at the levees and
It's
that whole
not-
area.
Yeah.
The whole hunter's fuck.
It's
You know what I mean?
yeah. It's
It hasn't peaked yet either, so tomorrow it's going to
Tomorrow.
peak.
So you
So-
think that's going to come over the park and it'll come over the ledge there?
I don't know. I'm not going to
that didn't
make.
even happen in 07.
No, it didn't. But at the same
They might
time,
have strengthened
and this is
the
what I
levee
was saying. Reese and I were having a chat because he had to drive home from work, and he rang me and I said, like, if you need to come here. But
So before you continue, I'll just quickly fill in. What Vinno's referring to is we got sent where we all live is currently copping the floods. The levee bank in the town that Vinno lives in is very, very close. But the peak level that they're expecting is very close to actually breaking the levee bank. So my work today got shut down and we all got sent home. And there was actually a chance that I wasn't even going to be able to get home because reports were that the only road I had out was closed.
back to here.
Yeah, so there was a chance that I might have had to have ended up at Vinno's if I could have got there.
Which would have been terrible because it would have been.
Oh, it would have been horrible, mate. Yeah.
Can you imagine how horrible that would have been for Vinno and his
It
family?
would have been just like,
people when you're sitting
have
at
been.
home safe.
Yeah.
you know.
I mean,
It would have been real
remember the
shit.
last time you rocked up here? We ended up fucking blind.
We did. It was,
But,
that was
Fuck, it was.
But if it comes over
But yeah,
that
look,
line, that's going to
it
be
is.
disastrous
And see
on
that-
both sides. The main town's one side, but the other side is going to be disastrous.
Well, it's already up
Then
to
you're
some of
dealing
those
with homes
houses.
more as well.
Yeah, it's already up to some of those houses. But so in 07,
Caravan park.
the
yeah.
difference that we had there was the difference we have now. We've already had 2 floods in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
So the waterways are already full, the dams are already full, and there's nowhere for this water to go. So this is probably the best chance that that river has had of breaching the levee banks because it
There's
was
already so much water backed up.
it was already chock-a-block.
Yeah, because in the grand scheme of things, in comparison to the rain we got back in 07, this has been nothing.
It hasn't, no. And when you look at, like you said, when you look at that rainfall, then it was a shitload in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
Whereas this has been drawn out for a week or so, and it's been pretty spontaneous. So it's been heavy rainfall for a short amount of time, and then it might go a few hours before it rains again. It might only rain for 10 minutes, 15 minutes or something like that, and then stop for another few hours. But because it's so heavy and there is nowhere for that water to go, it's devastating.
Did you say the Putty Road was closed?
Putty Road's
it is.
closed, and there's been a mudslide on there. So
It's
that
whap, isn't it?
This morning.
Red ass putty.
it
You might have to grab a bucket and a mop for that wet ass putty.
I'll fucking Oh, fucking
You should
cheers
give it
that.
everything you got for that wet ass pudding.
I would cheers that.
Come
That
up
is
for the
fucking...
week, motherfuckers. Cheers.
Here's the
Like
call.
and subscribe, bitches.
Here's the call.
Oh,
Seriously.
fuck. Now I've got to remember where that gets put. But,
Sorry, go on. Sorry, yes. So
yeah. So there's already been that. There's the highway has got that many potholes and stuff in it. The amount of cars that have been damaged just from potholes and stuff. It's
Man.
just it's not just the
I
rainfall
am a
that's been
person that
causing damage.
changed the tyre this
Yeah.
week, so
Yeah, it's not just the rainfall that's causing damage. There's a lot of other things, and people getting impatient as well. That doesn't help.
not at all.
That adds to it, but I can understand their frustration.
What do you mean? By people getting impatient?
So there's been a couple of cases where people are getting aggressive or car accidents and stuff like that because they're just driving erratically. And it's been put down to impatience. They've been trying to do stupid shit that they normally wouldn't do because they're getting frustrated, they're impatient, and they just want to get home and it's raining. And that's what I'm.
A lot of people aren't built for these type of high stress situations, right?
No, that's right. But
I will say, on a whole, whenever this stuff happens in this country, people come together and they do help, especially after the aftermath. Is some of the most beautiful community shit you'll
what
ever
I
see.
really enjoy is that everybody comes together to put shit on Scomo because he's a fucking clown.
Man, hasn't he fucking copped it
I
today?
shared that today.
Oh, bro.
I'm just devastated with him. I mean, it doesn't take much. I mean, I heavily disagree with Tony Abbott. I use him all the time because I disagree with him on policy so much. Because at least Tony Abbott fucking was.
He had fucking empathy. He had empathy though.
And he was a person. He was a man of the people. He was a surf lifesaver. He goes down and he's a rural. He helps the rural firefighters.
He is in the RFS.
Can I make sandwiches?
He's a volunteer.
Actually go out with a hose.
He is a volunteer in the rural fire service. So
that's what I'm saying. Is whatever way he can, he'll help. You know what I mean? And he went out to country as well, didn't he, Vinno?
Yeah.
And he made it an annual thing. He started that they have to go out and spend a couple of nights out bush and stuff. So, but even during natural disasters, every single time, you think he would have learned by now.
Well, this is not the first one
to feel like they're supported.
Yeah, and this is not the first natural disaster that Scomo has dealt with in his term, and he still can't fucking get it right.
That's what I mean.
How many fucking opportunities do you want to do the right thing? You fucking pencil neck cunt, and you still can't fucking do the right thing. It's so simple, but he's too busy sitting there playing his fucking ukulele and trying to look good for the people on 60 Minutes.
Why did he do it for? He already got in trouble about the Hawaii thing. It's and here, look, everybody, here is what I learned in Hawaii while all your homes were on fire.
Yeah.
La, 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 la. He's so funny,
He's just a fucking, honestly, if there was a face that needed punching, it's fucking Scomo.
You don't have to.
Shame on him. You know what I mean? That should be the shame of the week, Scomo. Because all he has to do, right, is not. He just has to get down there with people and show them, look, this is your government's here. I'm here. I'm making sure I'm listening to everything that the SES needs. Everything that emergency services need everywhere. I'm listening to you.
Show a bit of compassion and empathy. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Honestly, if he showed up and just talked to people, right? So those, if he rocked up to somewhere that has been devastated and just not for a photo opportunity, but genuinely wanted to talk to them and find out why they're frustrated, where their issues are.
Remember when he went down the south coast in the fires and that, and was trying to shake people's hands?
Forcing that girl. He's
bro.
And that's what I mean. That was just a photo opportunity, man. He did not give a fuck, and this is why people just fucking hate him, right? But if he rocked up.
He could have said it in front of the camera. He could have even done it for optical purposes. He could have said, "Hey, look, I know you hate me. I know everyone hates me right now, and they don't think that fucking anything I can do is right, and I'm always skirting away. But here I am. What do you need? I don't give a fuck about the cameras. Fuck off cameras. What do you need? Do you need food, PPE, safety, resources? Tell me. and let's get on the phones and
that-
get it done.
but that
Like,
just
that's all
shows-
he'd have to say. And,
just shows.
and do, and he'd be loved.
Yeah.
He'd be loved.
And that just shows how little he gives a fuck and how distant he is from the general public and the people that he's supposed to be representing and
It's
serving.
obvious.
He's a public servant, right? So he's supposed to be, doing the right thing by these people in these catastrophic times. And as I mentioned, this is not the first one that he's dealt with, and that dumb motherfucker still can't get it right. Like, he can't even. Yeah, it baffles me that
You're not one
somebody.
of us. You're
He's
not one
not,
of us
he's
if you
not,
don't know
no.
what to do in that section at that time. Like look at us. We're just fucking
It's
dudes.
not even. I would respect somebody getting there and saying, yeah, but he might not know what to do in that situation, but be honest with it. But be there. If he doesn't know, rock up and say, right, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how we're going to get through this, but we're going to get through it together, right? That's if he fucking said that, everyone would be like, he's being genuine. All right, at least he's
But
with
you
us.
know what? If he was to turn around and do that now, everyone go, fuck off, you fake piece of shit. Like,
But
Take it.
he can't win anymore.
what would we say,
can't-
Reese?
He's gotta own it
What
now.
would we say?
He's gotta own it. You're like,
Oh,
look,
well,
I know
I
I
mean-
haven't been the best at optics, but here I go. I'm just gonna have to take it. I'm not great with a hose. I said that. You know what? I can make fucking sandwiches.
Come on, Dave. You're great with the hose.
Yeah, oi man, oi. I'm Ben Morrison. No one would have questioned my hose play. Yeah. But and that's a double entendre. Get the fuck out. But it's so easy. I don't know how the people around him he's not listening to, the people in front of him, like those people Reese brought up where he visited those places after, he's not listening to them either. So around him, in front of him, I think honestly, all he's listening to is that fucking pastor at his mega church that he goes to. It's the only place you can see him shut the fuck up and listen to whatever this fella in front of him's talking about, stand around dancing. Here, you've got this pastor can get Scott Morrison singing and dancing, but we can't get him to fucking hold a hose or make a fucking sandwich.
Maybe the original way you got him singing and dancing was a little bit as a child.
Oi, you get us all singing and dancing if you're going to be promising lovemaking,
True.
but he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it.
He doesn't. He's
He'd rather be away from it when it's a problem.
Yeah.
You know?
He'd rather
Just
fucking
not-
flee the country, and it's just it's bewildering to me. I just don't understand how we have ended up with somebody like that for not just one term. Like, he got voted in again, and
Yeah, I don't understand that. How can, regardless of policy, how can anyone look at him and go, "You're a good leader"?
We don't vote for leaders in Australia, is why.
No, I know that. But
yeah.
It's a different thing. I honestly feel like he is the prime minister because no one else really wants the job except for Dutton. And I feel like none of them in the party want Dutton. And I think when
I don't
Malcolm
want Dutton.
turned to go, it was between Malcolm and Dutton, and they all made a combined thing that, like, we're not having fucking Dutton in there. He'll ruin us. He's not going to get us the next election. Put Scotty in there. He will say what we need him to say, and he'll just coast us through, and he'll skid by. And you know what? If he fails, it's just Scott Morrison.
Yeah.
We'll toss it away.
it's just Scotty from marketing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just-
He'll say what you want to hear.
I love
You
that.
know what I mean? He's kind of like a very he's like a Trump in some ways, but also very reserved, and he's very smart. Like, he is smart in some ways, that he's been able to get where he is and maneuver and get people behind him. He's not an idiot. Like, we can't. Obviously, he's making the wrong moves politically and optically. But
I get what
he
you're
is smart.
saying. I get what you're saying,
You know what
but
I mean?
to me, what
Escape.
he's done in that time with what this country has faced and what the people of this country have faced in that time, he's a fucking traitor. And I'll put it that way, and I'll use that word because to me he is, man. If when the people needed him, he was not even in the fucking country. And it took guilt to get him back. It wasn't the fact that he went, all right, I'm the prime minister, I'm the leader of this country, I need to be back there during this disaster. It took pressure from, ministers in his own party and guilt for him to come back. At that point, for me, you're dead. You fucking
it was indefensible.
get the fuck out. Yeah. So, and now in this situation, right? Where is he now? they're making a big song and dance because he's supposedly going up to Lismore. But you've got, you know, why haven't you fucking been involved already? You knew this was coming.
Yeah, you're 2 weeks late, cunt.
Yeah. Like it's not just when it's a photo opportunity to happen, to get there and do the right thing. Fucking get there from the start. Support these people that need the support. Otherwise, get the fuck out. You know.
But that's what he has. The Prime Minister has a pulpit. Okay, so wherever the fuck the Prime Minister goes, cameras are going to be there, which means that he's going to be able to bring eyes to a situation. He could just be like, look, everybody, look at fucking Lismore right now. I'm going to need everyone to know that, look, these roads, like, you know, he just has to come out there and put a face to it. Don't worry, Australia, we're going to support the people in this community, and we're going to, you know, follow up with us and lay a plan out. That's all.
You don't have to bring cameras to it though. Like, these people have lost everything. They've lost everything, and they are looking for any sort of support, right? And they are getting it from the SES and those sorts of people. The people that, like, the volunteers in the SES who are exhausted and have been working around the clock, and other services to try and help people that have lost everything, right? If the leader of the country showed up there, whether there's cameras there or not, and said, I'm here to help, how can I help? And even just sat down and talked to these people, made them fucking tea, you know, in the rest areas, that goes a long way. Because, you know, like, if you've got somebody there at that level, or the leader of the country, sitting there and going through that with you, as he fucking should be doing, not the whole time, but getting there early on and going through that with his people, you feel like you are being supported and that you have got the backing of the country with you. But when your own,
feel like your government cares a little bit.
That's right. And when your own leader can't even give a fuck, he's in another country, right? Or he's not even anywhere, you know, around. And I understand there's things going on with, you know, Ukraine. Look after here first. Your own people are in trouble. You're already supporting. You've given more support to the Ukrainian people than what you have to your own people here who are, you know, going through a natural disaster.
I wouldn't. He could do both.
He can do, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He can do both, right? He has done more, and he can still do that for the Ukrainian people, but he's not doing both.
He's been tougher optically, and here's the truth, on Ukraine. And the reason why is because he's trying to show off to his foreign counterparts.
Exactly.
He's trying to be the big Australian army. You know what I mean? Like the armed forces do.
The war prime minister,
on a war stage. But here's the problem. Like you said, the Prime Minister needs to be down there. We have to feel like this person isn't just listening to his advisor and someone who was there. Someone who was on the ground. He has heard us. He has seen the problem with his own eyes. And that way, when they make the decisions and when they put in the policy to clean all this up and to make sure people are taken care of and the infrastructure and the resources needed, that you can say, okay, well, he made that decision. But on the ground, he talked to the people, we saw him, you know, but now I don't know how he keeps messing it up, because it's just obvious, and every time it's the same.
I believe he's a fucking
mistake. Like,
he's a pencil in human form.
We don't expect him there anymore.
No,
you know, we literally do not expect him to be there. And you know what?
Maybe that's what he wanted.
He's too predictable.
Yeah, but honestly, if he did show up, people would be surprised. Who would be surprised? Not for the right reason. They wouldn't be like, oh fuck yeah, our leader's here. It's like, he's actually here. It's like a kid whose dad never came to their fucking soccer game, you know, or something like that, and then all of a sudden he rocks up.
You know what? He just told Australia he was just ducking down the shop to get milk. He's just never come back.
Yeah. He's on vacation. Where's y'all's head of state? Oh well, no, that's the Queen. Where's y'all's leader?
Where your Prime Minister?
He's on vacation. Hey, your Prime Minister sure does care about your flooding. I'd respect him more if he was off doing that.
Oh,
At least he's
fuck.
being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that that's all we want is someone who's like, they don't have to be completely honest, but fuck, if you're gonna get fuck off overseas during a crisis, just tell us that I don't give a
It's
fuck about you guys. Yeah, it is. I couldn't give two
It's
fucks.
easy to be like, oh, sorry, like how we all be. Oh,
yeah.
you know what? Like,
While he's doing
sorry,
those, while he's doing those interviews, he's standing there in his fucking board shorts. That's the worst part. He's standing there in his board shorts with a fucking cocktail sitting on the table next to him. As soon as that camera cuts, he's into it.
green screen.
Yeah.
He hops back in the conga line.
Oi, what's the grounds on being a good bloke? Scomo, just don't be a shit cunt.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
literally
fucking simple.
that's like
Don't
the
be a
one
shit
Australian commandment.
But he's
Yeah.
You know what I
one
mean?
person.
Yeah, Australia has one cultural rule,
This-
and he breaks it every single year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's don't be a cunt.
But
Just don't be a shit
He
cunt.
breaks at every breath that he takes.
But he's one of those
and
people that
every
you have
move
to
that he makes.
explain. You have to
we'll-
explain to
we'll
him
be
what a shit
watching
cunt is.
You watch it.
I feel he needs to sit down with Reese and go through an extensive chat about what a shit cunt is and not to be one. Because if you say that to him, if you went, don't be a shit cunt, he'd be like, how do I do that? Like, he'd have no fucking idea.
You know what I'd say? I'd be like, everything that you're doing right now, when you wake up every day, do the opposite. You're a shit cunt.
And he'd be like, "Excuse me, mate. Please don't swear. Next question."
Yeah.
Or he'll just- that's what he's good at. He's good at like he'll take the punch and be like, "Oh, thank you," and he'll move on like he's just a fucking empty cunt, man. His eyes are like sharks'
Airheads,
eyes.
bro.
Yeah.
Oi, where's Egg Boy when you need him?
Oh man, Egg Boy would have telled this cunt up, man,
Fucking
years
oath.
ago, man.
Yeah.
Don't mess with Egg Boy.
No.
Poor
That
Abbott.
was-
He never came back. It was Abbott, wasn't it?
No.
Egg Boy got.
It wasn't
No, was
Abbott. No,
It was. I'm pretty sure it was
What?
Abbott.
I don't think it was Abbott.
Oh, I don't think I would
Someone
have
looked that up.
enjoyed it as
Someone
much
looked
if it
that up
wasn't
now
Abbott.
because I don't think it was
Okay.
Abbott. It wasn't
Yeah,
Abbott.
search it up. I want to know now for sure too. I'm pretty sure it was Abbott, right?
No, it wasn't Abbott. I'm
Are
telling
you
you.
sure?
I know it wasn't Abbott. I just don't know who it was. I know it wasn't Abbott.
Oh no, it was Scott Morrison. Oh, was it?
No.
Oh no. Wait. Egg Boy. Where's Egg Boy?
Egg Boy.
Is it end? No.
It was somewhere. It was a
Was it?
no.
No. You know what? It wasn't. It was Fraser Anning.
Mm.
Yeah, it wasn't actually Abbott. It was. It was Fraser Anning. It was that Queensland fucking.
He
dude.
was on. He was One
He's a far
Nation.
right dude. What party was he? Yeah,
One Nation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was throwing around a lot of hate speech at the time, and that's when Egg Boy struck. Yeah.
Talk shit,
And
get
you know
egg.
what? There should be a statue for Egg Boy.
It should.
It should just be a little sleek.
He
guy.
deserved
I
more than
remember-
15 minutes of fame, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Well, let's give him another one.
Yeah, let's do it. Oi. Here's cheers to
The
Egg Boy.
Oh,
The Egg Boy.
do that again. You froze. No, you froze for me.
Actually, cheers to Fraser.
No, you froze.
Cheers to Egg Boy.
Cheers to Egg
Cheers to
Boy.
Egg Boy.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a
You know
fucking
what?
glitch there.
It was the anniversary today. If I could take you to Ireland for a bit. And here's why it's a bit funny. In 1966, in Ireland, fucking the IRA blew up a statue in the middle of O'Connell Street, and it was a statue of Admiral Horatio Nelson. He's a British admiral.
Admiral Nelson. Yeah.
And why it's funny, it's because for 8 weeks after that, the number one hit in Ireland was the song called Up Went Nelson. So isn't it just funny? Like, can you imagine nowadays if like an organization like the IRA blew up a statue, and then in that country at the top of the charts for 8 weeks was a song about blowing up that statue with TNT and fucking, like fucking,
Pretty wild, man.
Well,
man,
saying that it was only
Semtex and shit.
you've got those, and it's not quite the same, but it's
Irish songs are all full of fighting the English and blowing
really
stuff up.
we wouldn't
But
have
it's
known.
just so great. Yeah,
We
I
wouldn't
know.
have known that night in
Every
your
song.
shed. Yes, fuck. For anyone that doesn't
I
know,
know.
after we did the episode 1 of this season, we were down in Canberra, and after we hit
what a
stop
time.
on recording, Dave and his brother Colin, here's to Colin.
Cheers to Colin.
Oh man, yeah.
got like we're all fucking smashed. But out came the Irish folk songs, and it was a time. Fuck, it was great.
Mate,
They're so
that
sad.
was an eye opener for me.
Yeah.
That was the first time
Yeah.
I really witnessed some good folk music in person by some passionate beings.
It was
Man,
fun
I
as
fucking
fuck.
love them. I'll cry.
And do you know
I'll
what?
cry singing that
I'm
shit.
gonna-
And
I'm
even
gonna
the
say-
Aussie songs.
Yeah,
the
I'm
Aussie songs
gonna
make me
say-
cry too.
I'm going to say here in front of the audience that we have, all 66 of them.
67 now. I got
Oh.
another person to jump on from a podcast, the promotional site. But anyway,
Nice.
jump on.
I'm just going to say that even though our favourite Irishman is Irish, the passion that man has for Australian folk is incredible.
Just the stories. You know what
I was
mean?
born and
Yeah.
bred here, and this man knows more about my country than I do.
Nah.
Now-
The songs always get me. They always get me.
To you, Dave.
Cheers to Australian folk music.
Now,
That is
saying-
working class and badass.
Saying that,
Let me
Reece,
tell you,
the
it is
thing-
good shit.
the thing
And
with a
not-
lot of
the world
those,
doesn't know enough of that.
no.
Yeah.
But the thing, and this is why Dave's resonates, and we spoke about this briefly when, like, once the cameras weren't rolling. But the reason that resonates so much with the Irish is because of a lot of those folk songs were written by Irish immigrants or convicts.
Comics, yeah.
Either once they were freed or once they were shipped over, and they were in captivity. I mean, Moreton Bay, that song that I showed and we spoke about,
Yeah.
and Bernard Fanning sang it during the Ned Kelly, the newest movie, not the older one, but the one with Heath Ledger. And Bernard Fanning did a cover
Fantastic
of that.
song.
Yeah, did his rendition of that. But that's about an Irish convict in Moreton Bay, or in Queensland.
We're
So that was-
connected, mate.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
believe
and that
we
was
are
written-
connected.
Absolutely.
Because just like Indigenous, well, not just like, but I feel like it was hard for certain people here when it started, and we were one of them. But also, there's a link there in the colonized thing, and that's where I think it's there's power in it. But
Well, you say it perfectly. You're the
Like even-
the blacks of Europe is what. Is that what
yeah,
you
well,
say?
the blacks of Europe. That's what people
Yeah.
used to consider us that, and even when we went to America. But like, even in Ireland, a lot of our folk music is about getting sent to Australia and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so the Fields of Athenry
Yep.
is sang at every soccer game and rugby game and all, and it's about getting sent to Australia for stealing corn so the young might see them on. You know what I mean? And then there's fucking Botany Bay, and it's about stealing the fucking sheep and getting sent to Botany Bay, but to take old Pat with a shovel on his back to the shores of Botany Bay.
Yep.
And then, like, it's all about that. It's like even the Black Velvet Band is about a hooker. You shag a hooker, she steals some dude's watch when she's with you, but she slips it in your pocket, and now you're fucking sent to Van Diemen's land. Like, I think we're so connected.
Absolutely.
because For a lot of people, coming to Australia was punishment. But ultimately, it ended up being the start of so many families here that it was the best thing that ever happened to them. They escaped famine, and tyranny by coming here. And admittedly, back then, it wouldn't have been fucking easy to be to be working here back then. That would have been rough.
Right.
in
Yeah, our
Australia.
climate's wild. Wild,
Yeah.
insane.
No aircon.
No, yeah.
Water. Fuck.
Yeah, it's just the conditions that they would have lived in would have been
Now,
atrocious.
saying that,
And they didn't
Saying
listen.
that,
They didn't listen to the indigenous people
That's
there to
right. So-
understand how to.
there was already
Yeah.
a culture here for 40,000 years prior to that.
Hey, we were forced here.
You
That's
were,
all I'm
yeah,
saying.
no, look,
mate.
look, I'm
That's
just
all
saying.
I'm saying, brother.
I'm just saying, like you mentioned the working conditions and how hard it was, but there was people that were thriving here and had been doing so for 40,000 years.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm not disregarding that at all. I'm
not
talking
saying
about from their perspective.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what
yeah.
they-
Yeah,
what they would've-
these guys were forced to build a Western society
Yeah,
in a fucking in an Asian basically, and it's a weird. Australia is weird with Africa and Asia how it kind of meets, and every part of Australia is fucking new. There's a natural disaster every week somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's a rough land, and like you said, Vinno, people have been here since before. Like, here's the truth: Indigenous people were the first people to have art, the oldest art we can find, which is the creative mind of humans.
yeah.
Was this the first spiral, The first time someone stepped outside the box and put it on a wall was here. Okay. And they've been living here and flourishing here and understanding their place in ecology here. But we tried to put London here. We tried to put London in Melbourne. We tried to put Paris in Sydney. Like, we tried to do all these things. And that's what, and we're building over floodlands, and we're building societies where there's no water.
Changing
we're building
landscapes.
little communities.
Yeah.
And that's right. And ruining.
Even
was here before.
But at least they got the city layout right in Melbourne. Like, it's, the easiest.
Box brother.
Like,
yeah.
But and
when you're new to Melbourne, box turns are a bastard. I'll just say that. But the trams and public transport, is it better than Sydney?
Just the layout. It's so easy to navigate the city. Like the actual
New York's good
CBD.
too.
Yeah, well, 100%.
It's all numbers. It's all 57
But I mean,
Street.
we used Sydney, Reece, like
It's
trying to get through there, navigate that, and then going down to Melbourne. It's a whole different fucking ball game. But I'll bring it back to, we're talking about the Indigenous culture and trying to put London here in that. And like you were saying, Dave, we're building on floodplains and stuff. And given that we're talking about floods recently, there was a story that showed up. It was a friend of mine shared it. And it's in regards to Gundagai and the floods that were back there and the Indigenous people helping during that period. And it was, I can't remember the exact year that it was, but houses were washed away. And it was still when Indigenous people, it was before the 60s, let's say that, before Indigenous people were recognised as even being human. They were still seen as animals.
Flora and fauna, wasn't it? That's incredible.
And the story is about an Indigenous man who got in his canoe and went and saved people in Gundagai. And, it was known that flood was coming. The Indigenous people knew that it was coming and tried to warn them, and they didn't take heed to that and just ignored it. And then when the floods came, it was the Indigenous people that were objectified and they basically shunned that we're out there saving people. But that, not only that, it was the name itself refers to, big water or big river. I can't remember exactly what the translation is. And what you were saying, Dave, about building over floodplains and all those sorts of things, that knowledge is already there, and it hasn't been, we haven't listened to it, or it wasn't listened to, and it wasn't taken into account when a lot of these places were built. And it's just, when we're looking at the floods now, it's another cog in the scheme of things, isn't it? Like, in regards to that. So
how do we make that that connection, I guess, to and that appreciation, and how do we put in the infrastructure to learn that and to bring that into our planning and to maybe change stuff? Like, is there some other shit coming? Tell us the stories.
Listen,
like, what the fuck?
Listen,
is Canberra going to be cool?
The stories are there, and the Indigenous people want to talk. I mean, we saw it with the recent fire seasons, right? Afterwards, the amount of conversation around the Indigenous way of dealing with fires and fuel loads and all those sorts of things.
They want to
talk. They want to talk. They want to pass on this information. It's part of the culture. It is part of the Indigenous culture to pass on the learnings through storytelling, to the next generation. And they
protect the land.
Absolutely. The land is us, right? It's not owned by anybody. It is, we are one with the land, is that idea and that teaching.
I am, you are, we are. Yeah. What are we, lads?
We are Australian.
Oh, me little heart, me goosebumps.
But you ask the question: how do we get that learning involved in the planning stage? We can do it now. We've got to listen. That's all we have to do is listen.
But how do we
include
those cunts that to be humble and just be like, all right, let's. You know what I mean? Let's listen to the people that have been here before, and they have a way. And again, it's not even being humble. Whoever does this will reap the benefits, right?
An option.
Like, let's think of politics. I want to be the guy that stops this next thing. I'd be shouting it through a bullhorn. You know what I mean? Like,
look, far too often
they're brain dead cunts.
Far too often, it's used for the tokenistic side of things, and I'll refer to, National Reconciliation Week, NAIDOC Week. You've got all these companies, corporations, governments that for that particular period of the year, they want to jump on board and they want to, change their profile pictures on Instagram and Facebook and all that shit, right? It's tokenistic. But when push comes to shove, they don't actually want to be involved. They don't want the Indigenous people involved. They don't actually give a fuck. Wow. That's right. So, weak ass promises.
These guys got some weak ass promises.
But yes, and
it's a way of life. Wow.
You ask that very simple question: how do we fix this? And the answer is so simple, and that's include them and listen. If the first stage in the planning process...
No. You're wrong. It's just don't be a cunt.
I feel like not being a cunt, all of that is included under that banner, right? To not be a cunt. So
that's what an Australian president should be.
If
we ever have a republic, a president should just be like, the parliament decides what they're going to do, and then there's a rubber stamp, and that president we vote in as a don't. Here, mate, you don't pass any laws that you think would be a cunt move. And he'll look at it and he'll have two stamps. And one says cunt, and one's like, you're not being a cunt. Yeah. And then that's what he does, and that's his job.
Yeah. Cunt and cunt free.
If we think he let a cunty thing through, vote him out.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
If I do that, mate. Am I going to be a cunt? Yes.
Yeah.
Not doing it.
Don't. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you be a cunt? Yeah. Unless you're being a literal cunt.
No, sorry. No, we should probably what if I do this, am I going to be a good cunt?
That's another thing, because a cunt can also be. Yeah, cunts are great.
Am I going to look? Let's refer it to. Am I going to be a good cunt or a shit cunt? Right?
Yeah, so, shit cunt. Yeah,
you're kind of
stamps.
Anyway. Yeah,
2 stamps.
Good cunt, shit cunt.
If you asked yourself that every time you were thinking of policy, Arlo, is this good? Am I a good cunt for doing this or a bad cunt or a shit cunt? Sorry.
Well, look.
Oh, I'm a bit of a shit cunt.
Religious people
look like a shit cunt.
Religious people have the saying, "What would Jesus do?" For us, it's just, "Am I going to be a shit cunt?" And that will solve all your problems.
Do crazy non-cunty things.
I feel like Jesus would sit there and go, "Am I going to be a cunt? Am I going to be like my old man who is a cunt?"
He'll grab the policy, he'll read through it and go, "Is this going to make me a cunt?"
Yeah,
it is.
Get the fuck out. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, because Jesus would sit down there and he would think, "What would Vinno do?"
That's right.
And it's just, it keeps going from there and there.
And what Vinno would do is, right before he goes to have a piss break, he would have a quick sip of his scotch and then announce that when we come back, we're going to do a quick Scotch of the Week.
Oh,
no.
Scotch of the Week?
Use Scotch of the Week as the break. That way.
Maybe we should. What, you mean? No.
You should run an intro while the music's playing. You should be like, and everybody.
Here at Fireside Yarns, we are so unorganized in regards to what we're going to do with our breaks.
we wing it. We wing it. That's what we do.
We love it. But look, before we go,
Fireside Yarn.
Before we go for that break, I'll just finish up with what I was saying in regards to when it comes to the planning process. In like you were mentioning, with any planning, government action, those sorts of things, if in the first or early stages the Indigenous people were brought in a representative for the Indigenous people for that particular country that they are representing, and I've spoken before about, when I say country, I mean their tribal lands, if they were brought in and there was consultation there and discussion, that would resolve so many issues that we are seeing. And well, not all of them, but if they were engaged, they've looked after the years for 40,000 years. They've got some of the answers. They don't have all of them. Let's work together. Right? They haven't survived this long by being stupid. Anyway.
Yeah. There's no losses here.
No.
So are we gonna play that music?
We 100% we can play that music. Welcome back to episode 6 of the Fireside Yarns. It was a lovely little piss break for the boys. A couple of refreshing, fresh tins.
Some
Bit of a
peanuts.
Scotch in there as well.
Fucking good too. Fucking good
Keep
too.
ladders and ready to ladder.
Oh, mate, has it ever. But, I mean, as we were previously discussing, just don't be a cunt. It's pretty simple rules to live by.
Yeah.
Is that the
So-
theme for the episode? Just don't be.
I think, you know what? I really think it might be. It's everyone should just live by those rules. Just
It's the theme
don't.
for the season. It's the theme for the brand. It's the theme for your country. It's the theme for the world. It's the theme for life, motherfuckers. Like,
Yeah.
think of a situation where you can't be like, no, I should be a cunt here. Now, maybe there are situations. There are.
Maybe
There
one.
are a couple of situations where, you know, I'm going to be a cunt to this motherfucking.
As a whole-
Dave, can you give us?
Retaliative cunts.
Can you give us an idea of when you have gone? I'm going to be a cunt here.
I will be, if you are a cunt to me, you are dealing with a wet ass fucking person, okay?
Have you
No, I
ever
wanna
been
keep it
banned off
Keep
Facebook
it
from
whack.
being a cunt, Dave? Or
No. I've actually been banned on Facebook. It was a misunderstanding, and I fucking sent it through to you, Vinno, for fighting at round 3 and challenging my brother to a fucking PlayStation fight, and I got in trouble. But the reason I got in trouble is obviously because I'm on a short fucking string. I'm on thin ice with Facebook because I love being a cunt. In the right setting, being a cunt is good, I will say. Like when you're playing Call of Duty and you've won, okay, and you're in a lobby then at the end of it and the scores are all up, you be a cunt. You be a cunt. If someone says some shit to you,
no,
and they're-
hang
and
on.
they're a cunt to
I
you-
don't think that's being a cunt. That's being a funny cunt, because that is funny.
But that's been a cunt. There are many. Again, we talked about you have to be a cunt.
Yeah, you have
in
to.
one way. This is Australia. You're a cunt, or you're not
But you're a
Australian.
cunt regardless,
Quite
right?
frankly.
Are you a good cunt?
Quite
Are you a
frankly,
shit
you
cunt?
get the
Are
fuck
you-
out if you're not a cunt. You're a good
Everybody's-
cunt or a shit cunt
Look.
or a funny cunt or your mate.
Everybody's.
No one wants a your mate. Yeah, at least if you're
Yeah.
a funny cunt or a shit cunt, you're known. But if it's a your mate, it's like,
yeah, fuck.
Ugh.
you don't even want to own that cunt.
You
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Wait, if you're leading the country, you don't want to be a cunt.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to be a
And
shit
you know
cunt.
what?
You don't want to be a shit cunt. Sorry.
But you know
You wanna
what?
be a
There's
good
two-
cunt.
Look, everyone's a
there's one
cunt.
type of
Everyone's a
that
cunt.
can
There
be
is.
good or bad.
There's got to be specifics around what sort of cunt you are, because if you're a shit
But
cunt,
there's-
no, get the fuck out. But if you're a
It's
good
blurry.
cunt, let's go and have a drink.
But it's blurry because a crazy cunt can be a good or bad thing. Be like, oh, fuck, he's a crazy cunt.
Yeah.
Or, fuck, he's a crazy cunt. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
I think the tone suggests it as well.
No,
You know what
I
mean?
think the way it's where the noun is put, I think, or if you're he's a crazy cunt, or no, that cunt's crazy.
Yeah.
Is where it's
I
put, you
suppose it's
know,
a
like-
before and after.
Yeah.
But you can be. But
Because
if, you say it slowly,
if
what a
that cunt's crazy, you
cunt.
stay away from him. But if he's a crazy cunt,
He's a
Yeah.
fucking mental cunt.
yeah,
You
yeah,
have
yeah.
to say it happily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
tone. It's tone.
Man, what a crazy cunt. What a crazy night that was. But you can't be like, that night was crazy.
Fuck, he's a
Yeah, you leave the cunt out of it then. You know, I think that's what happens. When someone's legitimately crazy, you just call them crazy.
Mm.
He's
Yeah.
crazy. Maybe he's a fucking crazy cunt. That kind of,
Mm.
that moustache is
Banter.
it, kind of laddie. You know what I mean? It's like, he's trying. Fuck, he got us laughing though, yeah. I wouldn't do it myself. But
Oh, he's a funny cunt.
Hey, you funny cunt. It's like Dave at the back of the Criterion at my fucking Bucks, man.
Oh,
Has
Like, what
anyone at the back of the Cry ever impersonated Shaggy? You know what I mean? I don't think that's
it's
been
one of the
done.
most deadly freestyles Singleton has ever seen.
Well,
And
no.
then to do that and then to last 2 seconds on a mechanical bull, no one has done that. That's literally in his striped socks that I stole from me missus. There is no one in history that has ever done that. I bet it. Like, there's no way. You can't find it. And if
No.
you do find it,
It was
I've
fucking.
not bet
It's
any money.
iconic. Fuck, that was a night.
That was
For an hour and a half, you just freestyle, and it was fire.
It's hilarious.
We had the table. You know what I mean? I think we had the big table at the
We had the
Cry
whole back area.
Yeah. we were in good place to have the class clown
Mm.
re-emerge after all them years.
Oh, fuck, it was good. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a good night.
It was.
Hey, actually, it was beautiful out there, mate. It was.
Yeah, it was. That was actually, I think, that the first time I'd ever done paintball. I think it was.
That was a
Shot the fuck out of me in the fucking loading area.
I didn't fucking do such a thing.
You are fucking full of shit.
I wouldn't do such a thing.
Wow.
I'm not a cunt like that.
Oh, you were that day.
That's the only time.
Hey, I copped it back. I remember, like,
Oh yeah, you copped it.
I fucking at the end of the day, remember me just fucking
you
losing
blew
it.
up.
Well, I was walking out, man, and I'd already been fucking peppered, and I was walking out like I'd copped a fair fucking go of it. And
you cracked the shits, hey.
Well, I was walking out. I was walking out, man, and I had my gun raised above my head. I was fucking covered in welts. Because remember, that's when I grabbed Benny Leno's, like, other mate's gun, and I said, "Can I borrow that?" And I walked, like, I gave people the opportunity to just fucking smash me.
Yeah.
I walked straight, did the old Ned Kelly, fucking copped it, walked up, and then walked around the place and let people just fucking feed me. And people were shooting me close range. Then I put the gun up and I was walking out, and
it was over. It was
I was done. Like, I was in fucking so much pain. And then,
that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Look, I was like, oh, fuck.
We were all quiet at the time. We were like, all right, Vinno, it was too far.
Yeah, like, well, look, at the, like, walking out, I was like, oh, this fucking sucks. But then it kept going and going. And then I was like, nah, I've given you the opportunity. Enough's enough. Like, and I lost it. And I won't say who I lost it at, but that person ran. If
anyone had the right to lose it, to hit you a couple extra times that day, it was that person. Maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But they ran up and the barrel was point blank. Like, it was right.
I didn't see it happen. I just seen you after it happened.
No, it was right on me, man.
I didn't see it happen.
Good all day, all good. Like you said, all day. Taking it.
When we went into the last game, I looked down and there was actually blood coming out of that shot.
Usually, like, there's only ever blood coming out of your arse.
Yeah. out of my wap.
All in good fun.
Heavy's wap.
But yeah,
that pussy, it's a wab.
That one was that one set me off because of how close it was. Like I said, it was bleeding. Like, it was a fucking. It wasn't.
I'm not gonna lie. I can't even remember who it was now.
I remember who it was.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to put me in on that when we finish.
I will. Yeah, but. Yeah. I'd had enough at that stage because I'd given everyone, like I said, a fair go, and that was just going.
It wasn't malicious, I don't think. I just think it was a misunderstanding.
It wasn't, and that's why.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not.
That was on the D-Day map 2A.
Yeah. Because it was during that D-Day. Remember, like, we were in the boats, and you guys were all on the top of the hill, and like I said, I walked from the boats. Yeah, well, and even my own teammates were shooting me, right? Because I grabbed the both guns, and I just walked up the hill. I was dressed as a fucking bunny. Yeah. Like a pink bunny. I stood out like... But I walked from the boats up to the bunker, through the bunker. I'd run out of bullets halfway up the hill. Like, out of fucking ammo. I walked through the bunker and they just stood to the side and just peppered me. Man, it was like a fucking gauntlet, but I walked the whole way and then walked back down. And then it was on the way back down. I went, righto, guys, that's enough. Like, put the gun up, and then that person ran up close range. Like, the gun, the barrel was that far away, and just went fucking boom, 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 boom.
Not funny.
And I just went, get the fuck away from me, like. And then in the area, I was like, get the fuck out. No, it was a lot more heated than that. Because it fucking killed. And it was afterwards they were there and he came up and said, oh, sorry, mate. I said, no, get the fuck off, man. Like, and just let loose. And I
see it, because I don't think I saw it immediate. I saw the aftermath of it. Yeah. But yeah, you were in pain. Those things hurt. I can't remember who it was.
And look,
but on that day, they got shot in the finger, and I'm pretty sure it either broke their finger or jarred their. Was it Bondi?
It took his nail off. Took his nail off. Yeah.
They're not playing around. And like you said, you'd already done the walk of shame and you got smashed. And now, when you're not expecting something like that, and you're already in pain, it's the end of the day. You know what I mean?
No, I was like, anyway.
Yeah, good day though. Good fucking day.
It was
though.
good fun. It was good fun. Like in half an hour after that, I chilled out. The pain had subsided, and yeah, it was.
We
all
drank
good.
heaps of beers.
Oh man, getting pissed on the bus. That was
Yeah,
a bit of
that was
fun. Stop and get fucking bags of cider and shit. We were stopped at some bottle.
Yes,
Right, didn't
bags
it?
of
Random
cider.
bottle.
Yes.
Who was on the? It wasn't the Fat Yak. It was someone was on some
What were we
potent shit.
playing? What's the song we were playing, Reese? Didn't we play a fucking song in the fucking? We made them put something on. Oh, you know what it was?
It
Yeah,
was,
we
it
sang-
wasn't it-
Bin Laden didn't blow up the project. It was you. Tell the
Yeah.
truth. Push knock down the towers.
It was on
Yeah.
that bus that you were originally
Yeah,
doing your Shaggy.
Technique and Mos Def or whatever. There's two. Remember, there was two different versions. Yeah.
And we did Twins Deep cover.
Oh man,
Well,
that's right. Yeah, dead
yeah.
in the middle, a little,
Yeah.
did we know middle, some middleman who didn't do diddly.
Oh man,
Who was it? Apathy. Who's a fucking great. Is it Demigods?
Demigods.
They have,
dead in the
yeah,
middle. Yeah. They
Oh, rest in
sample
peace,
it
Pakistan.
I just remember my
Yeah.
old man driving that bus home, just going, "What the fuck is this shit?" And we were just losing it. And then that's when the Shaggy
He started
impression
it.
started.
He put you on the road to alternative shit.
He
That's his
did.
fault. Yeah.
He did.
Yep.
He's never really been a fan of rap though. But
Neither was Wild
Like
Man.
Reese's dad. Didn't you? Don't you need the right intro to it?
You do.
you do.
You need to understand because it can't. It's like rap is crap. Like, you know what I mean? Oh my God, they're not singing, they're just talking. You know what I mean? So they're looking at it the wrong way. But I think then when you look at it the right way, because my dad's not there either. My dad does not get it, and he thinks it's shit. You know what I mean? And he does.
The
But I
beauty of
think
hip hop
there
is
has
that
to be a way in there. You know?
beauty of hip hop is hip hop can come from any genre of music.
Yeah.
And from
Hip-hop is the
anywhere.
manipulation of other genres to form hip hop.
That's all
what
it ever was.
That's all it ever was.
Yeah.
So
But right now, you can have, there's so many genres. If you like metal and you only want metal hip hop, it's there.
Yeah.
It is there for you. If you like jazzy hip hop, it's there. If you like fucking anything from pop to rock and roll hip hop, it is there. And
Yeah.
the beauty of hip hop is as well. I just think that it's the best lyrical music. I really do.
Yeah.
I
agreed.
think, and now you can talk about analogies and in metal how they kind of use certain things, and even in poetry and all. But I think in hip hop, it's brutal lyricism. It's brutal. They've got all the stretching analogies.
I think it's
stuff as well.
taking it's a form of poetry, but it's taking poetry to the next level because it's
wordplay.
it is
so-
and it's so aggressive in
it's
some
down
forms.
rhyming
It's
syllable.
yeah.
You know what I mean? All these songs are singing along to chords, majority of the time. But hip hop is itself its own beat. So you can have a beat and then you have your rhythm and all that. But hip hop is playing around inside of the melody and inside of the rhythm. And you're hitting these little, you might be doing 10 different rhythms inside of 4 bars. You know what I mean? And you're trying to
Well,
fucking,
your flow dictates the
you know,
flow
Like-
dictates the way the song goes, doesn't it? Like it's
Eminem can just jump back and forward. He
Yeah,
don't give a fuck. He can go in whatever flow suits him. And what Eminem does and what I love about hip hop is the sport of it. Because Eminem will do something to show you he can do it.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these hip hop guys will be like, "Oh, that's a challenge." You know, they'll look at another guy and be like, "I'm gonna beat that," and I love it. And then there's cadence too.
that's always about hip. That's always what hip hop was, though. It was battles.
I'm the best MC. There's
Yeah.
one spot for the night. When all the DJs were doing their thing, there was one spot for the MC.
That's
And
right.
whoever rocked the party the best, MC. And it wasn't always
Yeah.
about the ramp up and down. Who could get, oh man, like hip hop's obviously evolved into different things. And obviously then in the 90s, at the late 80s and 90s, it took on a lot more of the street knowledge side of things instead of the knowledge itself. It went to street knowledge and then it became gang acumen and it changed back.
The best
and forth.
era of hip hop, in my opinion.
Yeah, oi. Because it was real. Because here's the
Storytelling.
beauty of all poetry. Working class to poor people make the best music. They invent music. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And hip hop is just the latest, most brutal side of it.
I feel Reese
And,
likes, however, the newer stuff, the very basic of lyrics. I mean,
What?
What?
Reese, I'm talking about.
Mhm.
likes the newer stuff, but they would
He
call
could probably
mumble
like
rap.
both, but I know for a fact he appreciates the high level MCs.
I was trying to get a bite, and it just didn't happen. It's gone all
I
over
get
his
you,
head.
okay.
He's got too much of a
I thought you
shine.
were trying to play. That's
No.
It's
No,
just-
he's just sitting there going like, God. Yeah. I feel like
you
a
got that, please.
feel like a dumbass now.
I think I might.
That's all right. Here you go.
I'll cop that.
Sorry, Vinno.
I'll cop that. I remember the reason I say that is because I remember when Panda came out and Reese and I were working together.
Yeah.
Now, since that coming out and to now, I actually don't mind that song.
Well, it's all right.
But at the time, I remember Reese going, "This is fucking shit house. I fucking hate this new style of rap. I fucking
This is
hate
garbage.
it. I can't fucking stand it. Turn this shit off."
Yeah.
And then
I'm still
he
in that
heard,
camp.
he still
I
heard,
need to be over the ledge still.
yeah.
You know
Well,
what
he
I mean?
heard Lil Uzi Vert for the first
What?
time. Yeah, there we go. That was the reaction I was wanting.
Yeah.
I'm open to being a boomer when it comes to that stuff,
Mm.
but I also recognize that I go through these little stages where I won't accept any new shit. With metal and hip hop, particularly, I think because there's just so much. Like you can live in 2000s hip hop underground and the ill bills and keep going down to demigods and everyone that's in there, fucking Cannibal Ox, and you can just keep going. You know what I mean? You can keep going. 80s, 90s, and it's just so deep that to me, then when I hear people go da 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 da, da I can't accept
What, a
that. I was
Snoop
like,
Dogg?
I would listen to that. You know what I mean? Like, and Snoop pointed it out too, but it's everyone trying to be Migos basically.
They created that style.
Yeah, that's right. Which has its place too.
Yeah.
And when but that wouldn't have survived in the 90s because you would have been fucking walked up on for biting someone's style. Like if you tried to sound like Busta Rhymes in the 90s, you'd be laughed, you'd be shot maybe.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
I mean? Yeah.
Speaking of like that whole style, biting, all that crap, I don't know how familiar you are, but like The Ringer by Eminem, it's the first track off Kamikaze Men. I would nearly say, like, I mean, he's got so many good songs. That song, I would nearly put it at one of his best. And if you haven't listened to it, Dave, I reckon you need to.
We need to get back to Eminem. I
Yeah.
agree with you.
Because although it's a few years old now, when did Kamikaze come out? Like 2018 or something?
Before that.
Are you sure?
2016.
It was 2018, right?
Just for
No,
background,
because I was
Eminem
away from.
after
We weren't working together
No.
when that. We were working together when Kamikaze came out.
Nah. No
Yeah,
way.
we were. Yep.
That's
Oh
pretty
no,
new.
sorry. I'm thinking of Dr. Dre's
Yeah.
last album. Sorry.
Kamikaze's like 2018, 19 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
18, I'm
yeah.
pretty sure.
I'm
it is.
thinking of Dre's.
You're thinking, yeah, that was 2015. We
Back,
weren't-
Yeah.
back when Vinno was only a year out of school, back in
Yeah,
2018. Back when little 5-year-old baby fucking Vinno.
Didn't need
Yeah.
to leave school, mate. I was making a big enough income in school.
Yeah.
Honestly, the beat is sick. His cadence, his flow, his lyrical content in that song, the amount of people that he calls out about rap and stuff now.
In that whole
Yeah.
album.
Yeah.
But
just-
just
and-
rap.
And you got to remember, it's the opening track to the album too. So it's like, there's no little Paul Berman skit or anything like that. It's just,
He means
Oh.
business.
this is my album. This is how it starts. And he just goes ham. And it's
Now,
fucking amazing.
speaking of that, the other night I went back and listened to the diss tracks with him and MGK.
Oh, so good.
I hadn't heard them in so long, and I
Kill
was
shot.
fucking sitting there, and yeah, and
Yeah,
I
he
went back
buried
and listened
him in
to. And look, you can say what you want about that, but it was fucking fire like that.
100%.
The discourse between them, or it doesn't matter what the rap battle is, creates some of the best fucking songs. Lyrically, it's entertaining.
Eminem's best music is songs that he can't put on albums and they're diss tracks.
Yep.
Quitter versus Limp Bizkit and fucking Everlast. Oh my god! And oh, sorry, that was Everlast. And then he had the Eminem.
Ja Rule beef.
Girls.
Ja Rule. Girls is the Eminem one. Is the Limp Bizkit one.
Yeah.
Fucking man, him and Everlast. He bodied him. That Quitter hit him up when he does Quitter and he just destroys Everlast, and then for Hit 'Em Up he brings in fucking D12 exactly like, and I want people to listen to, if you can listen to Tupac's Hit 'Em Up when he's going after Biggie, and then you listen right after or at the same time if you can, bar for bar, one after another, listen to Eminem's Hit 'Em Up on Everlast. Eminem not only just raps along to the beat of Hit 'Em Up, he tries to do a separate analogy for each bar that Tupac wrote.
Yeah.
But he tries to change it from Biggie to Everlast and Tupac to himself. See, when Tupac's like, I'm a self-made millionaire, pull pistols live swinging in the air, whatever, he's like, Eminem's like, I'm a pale-faced killer whale on his way to fucking prison, pistol whipping tail. Like everything, like he's trying to marry you to Tupac, also kick the shit.
Match his cadence and everything to whop it. Like, I know what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Oh man, it's so beautiful the way he does that. And it's not only a fuck you Everlast, it's an ode to Tupac. And then D12 comes in exactly like the fucking Outlaws. Yeah. It's so fucking, it's so perfect and unexpected. You know what I mean?
So that's what I said at the start with hip hop being like poetry, but better. You know, like it takes it to another level. It takes it to another level. It's become competitive. Not, you know, there's forms of competitive poetry as well, but hip hop is just ruthless the way they've done it. And
we should have competitive poetry between us three. We should have a competitive poets Fireside yarns.
I feel like Dave would just smash us lyrically, but at the same time,
yeah, I'm probably with you there.
Yeah, probably right.
Yeah, because
today,
cheers to Dave. And
where's the coffee on it? Yeah, drink it up, Vinno. Yeah.
Well, let's also cheers to Colin.
We need one for cheers to Dave. Cheers to Dave.
You have to sit for Colin too. There, just
quietly.
While you're at it, quietly.
This one's for Colin then.
Yeah. Whatever gets it into you.
Just a quiet little.
Just a little quiet little.
Well, you just put the whole thing down.
That was for Colin.
Yeah,
that's good.
I feel fucking bloated now.
But seriously, Dave, Ben, you need to listen to The Ringer. I
have to listen to Eminem. Like for instance, I stopped listening to Eminem after the Eminem show and all that, you know, and his voice annoyed me. And again, it was kind of like it coincided with me getting more into a different side of hip hop. You know what I mean? That I was more appreciative of the production of a Jedi Mind Tricks or Ill Bill and Necro at the time. That I was like, I can't stand this. When I can go over here and get this type of hip hop.
Do you reckon?
But you know, Encore came out after that. I loved Eminem's show, but after that was Encore. There was all these little bits, and he was going too much into even the second D12 album, because the first D12 album is one of the best fucking albums. Devil's Night People.
Right, I still listen to the shit.
It was just, I think it was like the drop. It was kind of like Metallica. Like Metallica did some great songs after their first 4 or 5 albums, but
as an holiday album.
A great metal, poppy metal album. You know, whatever you want to call it, mainstream metal. They're nothing compared to those first 4 albums.
They weren't albums that you could put on and listen to the whole way through. You liked songs off them.
Again, with the music that changed us. These albums hit me at a time in my life.
Yep.
At an age in my life, at a situation in my life, to where I felt like I needed those songs to be part of my life, if that makes sense. Do you know, like when you look back to when I was this age, you might hear the albums that were fucking important to you or that changed you. You know what I mean? And that was just, Eminem was one of them for me, and Metallica and all those Megadeth, Black Sabbath, whatever you want to go through. But when they're not hitting, when you move on to something else and they're not hitting it anymore for you, it's hard to jump back on. But I've been trying to like I appreciated the Martian Matters 2 LP. I want to get into that. What's it? That Murder album he's got? Is it Serial Killer? Yeah. I want to hear that. I've heard Al's theme through Reese recommending it. And again, I'm like, well, of course, Eminem's fucking. He's here. He's doing everything he can to show people, I'm just fucking better at this than you. Because rapping is the talent. It's not just about, like, with singing, I get it. But hip hop's on a different level. connect on a completely different level lyrical wise, and I don't give a fuck. I appreciate vocalists and singers, but it can't be touched. Like, I think no one can touch metal when it comes to music. I think hip hop's sneaky because it can do whatever it wants, but I think pure genre wise, I think the best, like metal. If someone's a metal band, I'm like, they're good musicians, probably.
Yeah,
you can get like, I can appreciate. Okay, that's not the metal I like, but they're good musicians. That's cool. Yeah. There's talent there, and I think whereas the musicianship is there in metal, I think the lyricism and the ability to, like, in metal, you're trying to do people as well. I want to be faster. I want to be technical.
Yeah. You listen to a lot of the lyrics in metal, and depending on what the metal you're listening to, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But you could say hip hop's gimmicky too in some ways.
Yeah, but like you were saying, like it's almost like horses for courses, you know, like
you can get deep.
You know, metal, as you were saying, metal with musically or technicality with techniques. You know, you look at metal in regards to sweeping with the guitarist, right? Sweep picking and those sorts of things. There's not many
downward picking. Gets fucking my little goosebumps up. Solo
blast beats and gravity beats and those sorts of things, man. Like when you're talking about drumming, they are used in other forms of music, but not to the extent and not to the level that metal takes it to.
Can we just talk for a second? Not even just you've all mentioned instruments. Some of the metal vocalists that we have nowadays. The boundaries that vocals have been pushed to.
Even back then.
Reese Thielander, man. Like, just the level that he took.
With Dio and all these guys that pushed, and Bruce Dickinson. It's metal vocalists are amazing singers. And again, they're not.
And you know what? I wasn't even thinking about, like, singing vocalists. I was, like, purely talking
death
about
metal,
like death metal, deathcore,
CJ, like
man, like,
Actually, speaking of which, I'm going to cut you off quickly. Did you see that Shinto Katana and Antagonist are doing a tour this year?
Yeah, that was postponed ages ago.
Was it? There you go. That shows how.
You know, the Diet is playing at the Cambridge right now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, I've got a fucked back, so I couldn't have got. Well, that hasn't stopped me with injuries before, but
yeah.
Yeah, look, that's how it shows how often I check that sort of stuff now. But I saw that and I went, fuck, I have not heard Shinto Katana since...
Because they've been split up for fucking ever.
Yeah, I know, but I was trying to think where the last time I heard them, it was at the Manning Bar. Hardcore...
Yep. Holy shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
09?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because it was... Yeah. And that's what I meant, like, when we were... You know, you're talking about bringing back memories and all those sorts of things. But as soon as I saw that banner out, because like the last time I saw Antagonist was when we played with them at Arimba.
Yeah.
When I was in Resistance.
Mm.
But Shinto Katana, I saw that on the banner and I went, holy fuck, when did I see those guys last? And yeah.
Well, you haven't been to many shows at all in recent years, eh?
Dude.
I Antagonist with the Cambo, and it would have only been.
COVID just kind of.
I mean,
even
in the last 2 years, but like
even before that, man, like Antagonist, hands down, is one of my favorite bands. Right? They just fucking kill it. They are amazing. Mm-hmm. When we played with them, it was one of the best times of my life. Like, awesome experience. And saying that, it was one of the worst times of my life because. That was not long after Huey, rest his soul, passed away. And I was talking to the Antagonist boys out in the car park then. And, you know, I mentioned that. And that whole set that we played was just something else because Dawsey, fucking champion, shouted it out to Huey. And then the Antagonist guys mentioned it. And did a big bit of a speech about it and then played their set. And it was, like I said, it was fucking awesome. Awesome playing with dudes that I really liked, a band that I really liked, plus the interaction. But, yeah, I have not seen them since that period. So I haven't been to a live show, man, for couldn't tell you. Actually, the last time we played with Terror, when Take My Force played.
It's interesting music. Do you think music helps you through those harder times?
Fuck yeah, it does.
Yes,
Absolutely, man.
Shit.
One song, and I mentioned it before in one of my top, This Heart by Miles Away.
Mm.
Man, that song has helped me through even Terror. Only the Good Die Young. Like, there's so many
cliche as it is, man. Like, music has well and truly saved my life numerous times, and I don't care how cliche that is, dude. Like, there's been times where I've felt like I've had no one, and music is
therapy, dude.
It is.
It is therapy, and you can sit down and you meditate while you're listening to music, and you almost, because music's so emotional, at least to me anyway. I kind of attach myself to the aura or the emotion of a song, and that's how you can express your emotion through that, if you know what I mean. Like, if you're angry,
absolutely,
and you can put some fucking shit on that will help you get that out. If
man,
you need to can just phase out.
The music that I'm listening to at the time is a direct reflection of my mood. Like, and I've picked up on that, but good friends of mine have picked up on that. Like, if I'm listening to the filthiest, heaviest death metal, I'm angry, right? And I'm pissed off about something, and I might not know that I'm angry. I might not realize that I'm angry, but if I'm putting that on, I know now myself, all right, what am I pissed off about? And I start looking, and that's what, that's the therapeutic side of it. You start looking inside yourself and trying to work out, right, what's pissing me off, what's agitating me. If I'm listening to something that's chilled out, like something acoustic, or even something that's that I used to listen to when I was younger, that I relate to, I'm relaxed, I'm calm, I'm happy, and that's a sign for me that, okay, I'm good. That doesn't mean to say that I won't throw, like, if I've just got a random mix on and something heavy comes on, that doesn't mean that necessarily that I'm angry. It might just mean that's in my mix and I enjoy that song. But if I'm just, if I'm mowing the lawn, I've got my headphones on, sort of thing, and I'm listening to something, and I'm just looking for the heaviest music that I can, the angriest music that I can, it's usually a sign that, I'm not happy about something. Even if I don't know necessarily what that is myself, that's my sign to start going and looking. So absolutely, it's therapeutic, and it's a reflection of my mood at the time. And I know there is other people and friends of mine, even Rissy or Dave, yourself, might be the same, that are very much that way. That,
oh, fuck you, speak for yourself.
Yeah, no, I will. Fuck you.
No, I'm joking. I agree with you.
But and that's what music is. It's an expression, whether you're playing it, listening to it, it's an expression of yourself, and it's a true reflection. Yeah.
Oh, here's of a friend at work, and it's not a common thing in his type of competition, I guess. Strongmen and people that competitive lifters, they listen to particular songs at particular times, like they need to. They have a routine,
high energy gay pop. Yeah.
Well, we all do.
Like,
well, inside of us all, hopefully more than just that, is gay pop. But but they need to, at a particular time, for a particular song, do their deadlift to get their highest deadlift. So there's people with that. They play
like
music.
when WAT comes on, that's when you want to be fucking really dropping it low.
I think Australia's been playing WAP quite a bit lately, and it's been now we need a bucket of them up.
Yeah.
But,
All My Single Ladies by Beyonce, that needs to come on whenever anybody's dead.
Oh man, I love that. When all, there was a time in history, kids, when all the Single Ladies by Beyonce would play, and then all the girls would get up and dance that little thing in the middle of the club, and
that was Dave. That was Dave's time to strike. That was when he was.
It's like play La Bamba directly after that, mate. Oh man, the dance I love.
Anyone that hasn't seen it, at one stage we're going to get you a video of Dave doing La Bamba dance and singing, because fuck, it is a treat.
When I was a young man, I was able to dance the dance of love, and that was how I
When I was a young Irish man. When I was a young Irish man.
fishing rod.
What was your bait?
Yeah.
So I'm just fucking cracking myself up.
What was your bait?
Music forces you, and you know, like certain people need it to reach these.
What was it? What were you asking, Reese?
I said, what was your bait?
What was my bait?
Well, he said that the bummer was his fishing rod. I said, what was your bait?
Wait. I am the bait. I'm the bait. I'm the meat. I'm the meat on the stick, okay? So you have, just the people out there that don't know what the La Bamba is. At house parties and at places where you can get a DJ to play it, I would get people...
Hang on. No, that's a lie. You didn't need a DJ. Dave had that on a CD and it was the only track on the fucking CD.
It was ready.
And it didn't matter if it was just a CD player. Dave would go and fucking throw that in.
I would throw it on.
Minute.
And it was
Ba-da-da-da-da-bamba.
yeah. No, man, gracia. But they play it, alright? And that song, I'd ask a lady, I would say, please sit on this chair, if you'd remember. And they'd sit in the middle of the dance floor on a chair. And I would be like, hit it. And da-da-down, da-da-down, da-down, da-da-da-da. And I'd be like, la 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 bamba. And I would dance around them like, I shit you not, like a fucking magician. I was like fucking, you know when people scream that Elvis back, you know when your grandmother took off her soiled undies and chucked it in Elvis's fucking face? That was what happened. But it was much bigger than Elvis. It was more broken down into a tiny region in the Hunter Valley.
Shit.
Dude, when I say it was a scene and it was a fucking time. Like,
it not only worked for me, I think it worked for the girls.
Look.
Bucket and a mop.
Look,
that was before WAP.
It didn't just work for you. Every time that song came on, us boys, it didn't matter where the fuck we were in the party, we would go running around that house or that backyard looking for Dave because we knew some shit was going down and it was just a fucking time for us to piss ourselves laughing. That opening note, man, we were just like, Dave's on. And we'll fucking...
I had
it
to
was
start
like a fucking...
the time Richie said La Bamba. Like, because you'd hear the guitar, da, 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 down, and I'd be like, it would be like the bat signal. Yeah, the sexual harassment signal.
It's the bat signal.
And it's like, I knew I was getting laid, and some girl knew she was getting lucky. Like, all different now, everybody. No, and I would like a charity. I would give away to one lucky person that night. Not only the dance of love, but the dance of love.
Fuck, it was
thank yous, gift cards, you know. I still get Christmas cards in the mail.
Boys giving him high five and he's walking up. That's fuck, dude. I don't think you realise that. Like, it's
girls giving me high fives. Me next. Sorry, honey. I'm only a one man. You know.
Wow.
It actually was depressing for me to have to, you know, to let down so many.
Say no. Yeah, right.
And the lads wanted to be La Bamba too. It was a different time, everybody. Different time. And an Irishman do a Spanish dance in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, hey, and people reckon they've got no culture over here.
Oh man,
no.
There was culture. It was called the Giles culture, man. That was, yeah. Fuck, it was good.
That's the most Aussie shit ever.
It was fucking funny. Look, there could have been a fight about to break out at any house party. La Bamba came on and it didn't matter what the fuck the beef was about. Everyone was united at the fact that Dave's about to do his La Bamba, and that was it.
It brought the peace, and I brought my peace.
It did.
Oh. That was a willing ass penis. That's a whack in itself.
A willing ass penis.
Yeah.
This is out of control. I fucking love it.
You know,
and plenty of McBain down.
What? Give us a little history of that hat you're wearing, mate.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Good. Hat stories.
So this is a hat that
we'll all go hat stories. We'll Vinno lead
hat stories.
So I think yours has some similar shit.
I just gotta. For anyone that's wondering why I look like I'm in pain every time I sit up, it's because I am. I've got a back injury at the moment. So I'm not trying to stop myself from shitting. I'm hurt. So this hat is, we've mentioned him before, but it's from my idol, Dad, my grandfather. So, and this was early days of COVID when he passed away. And we weren't able to get up there, weren't able to even have a funeral or anything for him. When the opportunity presented itself, myself, my dad, and one of my brothers, I've got 3 brothers, one of my brothers came up to Laurelton and we're helping get the house ready to sell. And during that period, we were going through some of his stuff and things that we wanted to keep. And he had 2 of these hats, and myself and my younger brother were looking at them, and we grabbed a few things that meant something to us. He had this old cuckoo clock when he lived at Herons Creek, which I don't know if you know where Herons Creek is, but he had a really nice property. That's where we spent a lot of time as kids. And that cuckoo clock went off every fucking morning, right? My brother took it, and there was just certain heirlooms there that you grab when a loved family member passed away. But this hat, I remember being in one of his cars for years, and he had 2 of them. Yeah, so I grabbed this one, and my younger brother grabbed the other one. But yeah, I was recently doing a cleanup, and I hadn't thrown it out. I hadn't put it in a shit spot. We were doing a cleanup, moving some stuff around. I found it. I went, fuck. I remember now why I've put that there. It was in a safe spot. But I decided that, I'm going to pull it out and wear it.
That's what she said.
Yeah, fuck. Jesus.
You're halfway there. Just keep covering.
Yeah, look, he was bald too. So it's just a bald cap. But, so it means something special. So I don't care if you all think it's shit. To me, it's something special.
Think it's shit. You know I rock it.
I know you don't. But anybody that does think it's shit, Reese, can you please hit the button?
What can they do, Reese?
About now? Get the fuck out. Thank you.
So it is, yeah.
It means something to me, and it's
beautiful.
sentimental, and I like it, and it's comfortable as shit. And like I said, he's my idol. He, for me, my brothers, my cousins, obviously my dad and my mum, was a massive part of their life and taught me so much about not just life, but having fun and what family means. And yeah, my charitable nature.
He was funny. He had a good little speech at your wedding as well.
Man, that was fucking iconic.
He's fucking smart as a tack, that dude, up until the fucking, you know what I mean? Like most people by his age, they're dealing with a lot of brain stuff, but he was like fucking quick. He was ripping on us.
That was the sad part. His body gave out before his mind did. His mind was still there till the very end, and it was his body that just, time hits everybody. But he was still very much switched on, very smart, very funny, very loving. And my son's named after him, and
there's a great picture of those 2 Ollies together, though, right?
That's it. The first time he saw him, man, because I told him before Oliver was born that we're going to name him after Dad. And he sort of, at the time, he sort of just went, oh, yeah, okay. And didn't take too much to it until he met him. And it was, I think it really kicked in when he saw that name tag on the bassinet and saw that we'd actually named him Oliver.
Live on.
Yeah, just that original smile when he first held him. Priceless, man. You
captured that, man. Captured that.
I had that fucking camera ready, man, because Mum and Dad were both fighting over who was going to have the first hole, and Mum had seen him. And anyway, Dad stole the first cuddle, so to speak. But Dad was there, and he was getting itchy toes, man. He was keen, and then as soon as I passed him to him, I had to grab a camera because it was obvious.
Epic.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Unreal. But yeah, so it's Dad's cap, and
a tip of the cap.
Tip to the cap, and a raise of the scotch.
And a raise of the grass.
Yeah. To old Dad. Love you.
Always the same, but I'll tell you now, because remember I showed you that at the start, boys?
You did,
That's my granddad, and he wore that all the time. and I used to steal his hats. And it's unfortunate. Like I had moved over here to Australia. Our family had moved to Australia, and he died while we were over here. And I would have loved to have grabbed one of them hats, but you're just not there for it, you know. And it was just, it's a big regret. But what can you do? It's beautiful.
How old were you then?
I'd say I would have been 16, 17 maybe.
So not quite old enough to, you didn't have your own money and that to get back and do that sort of stuff.
That's thousands and thousands of dollars to get over. My parents went over. Yeah. They were able to get over there. And
I mean,
I don't even think I was in the same state as my parents at that time. You know, I think I'd come, well, maybe I was 18 or 19.
You were still here.
I'd just come back. Yeah. I was in Australia and I was pretty much fucking dirt poor. And I wasn't going to be able to get back, and that's just the way it was. But those hats will always remind me of my granddad. And it's always why I've always liked wearing them, because I've always stolen them from him. You know, I was always like, and I'd fuck off. You, who the bleeding hell took me hat? And it'd be little David running, you know what I mean? I'd have it. Like,
it's that kid running down the street singing La Bamba. That's a motherfucker.
Yeah, he's that fucker tuning bitches. And, no, but when you put the hat on and you're like, Dad, I was like, oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, well, you had a couple of... Sorry, go Racy.
No, I was just saying, my pa always used to wear like those towel bucket hats.
Yeah,
like
man.
that's what he used to run, like flat out.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
different climates. Because Vinno's dad probably would have got in the habit of wearing all that shit. Dad, sorry. Because he was fucking off in bloody ships and stuff. He was off in Europe and
the Merchant Navy.
He did some pretty crazy shit, mate. When he was telling me all that shit,
I was in the Navy too.
Yeah.
Fuck that noise. Hey. Back then, Navy
that's right. You
was very different.
You had a good couple of sit downs with Dad, didn't you? I remember my birthday there at Darlington, and everybody else was partying, and there's Dave and Dad sitting down having a.
I get wrapped up. I love it, mate. I'm sucked in. Old people are like, they were alive during like, we're going through some shit now. You know what I mean? There's some shit going down now that we'll be able to talk to our grandkids about the stuff they talk in school. But fuck, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it was just so much crazier back. Not crazier, but dreadful.
Yeah.
And people that lived through that and still are funny and witty, and they've got the wisdom. Like, do you ever talk to a kid now and you're like, mate, you're not even on my level of humor, and you're not even awake yet. And then some might surprise you, and they have, like, kids nowadays are cool. Like, they surprise me in different ways, but the banter.
Different breed, man.
Yeah, man. They've heard all your shit. You know what I mean? And they're at that time of their life where they you know what I mean? But it's also, I think they know how special and important their stories are. So when they're telling them to you, they're telling this story with passion as well. And they may not have they're old, they're elderly, they're your elders, you know, so they don't have they're not able to fucking be animated with it. So with their words and how they say it and all, the weight of it, I always just was like, I'm that open mouth, wide eyed motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean? I love it. I love it. So when your dad, Oliver was telling me those stories about the Navy, and back then, man, we don't even know. We're just very lucky that we stand on the shoulders of our elders, don't we?
Yeah, man.
And so it's good to, if you can, everybody, go and do that. I mean, it doesn't last for long when you can talk to those people. It doesn't last for long.
Appreciate your people while you can, and if you can't, reminisce on the times that you did have with them, because you will learn so much from that. Yeah.
Reece, well, you know what? Prepare, because you're going to be that cunt one day. So get your stories ready and be ready to inspire them young motherfuckers. And
if I make it that far.
You will.
Yeah,
but just like Vinno's granddad fucking took the time to sit down and have a little chat with us. Have a little time for the young'uns. Get a yarn ready for them.
Don't be a cunt.
Don't be a cunt. And it all comes back to that.
Yeah, it really does.
Reece, your hat. Where does it come from?
I'm not even going to talk about it.
Reese is like, yeah, I just love Fidel Castro. He's like, I bought this hat when I was in Cuba, and fuck you, capitalist thugs.
You will probably know this, Vinno. It's probably not going to mean shit.
Is that a First Blood?
Yeah,
that's Precious Blood.
That looks ridiculous.
That's Precious Blood. This is a hardcore band.
It looked like a First Blood buy.
Yeah, I think I might have had a First Blood one of these at some point too.
You did. I remember when you bought it. It was when we played with them down at.
Yeah, I think I used to have a Parkway Drive one of these style caps too, the military caps. Back in like mid 2000s in the hardcore scene, everybody was wearing military caps
and military
camo
cargo shorts.
Yeah, camo cargo shorts. White t-shirt.
Yeah, man.
I still love camo, man. Camo is still my favorite color.
You just remember a little bit before that, I'd say a decade before that, it was New Rocks. Do you remember New Rocks were the big fucking thing, the shoes? Did you have that?
We had we went through here. Ours was like Osiris, Globe, all that, and then it was Vans. Yeah.
Remember in the hardcore scene when everyone was wearing Macbeths as well?
Yeah. Oh, fuck, man. Yeah. And then it went to Vans and all that. Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was. I can't even remember where. I'm pretty sure I bought this off someone. I didn't even get it from a Most Precious Blood show, even though I've seen them twice. I think. Yeah, twice. Yeah. So I've got no interesting historical story for my hat, which is why I'm not going to talk about it. It's just it's an OG. You know, people don't wear these kind of hats anymore. I think that's going to bring us to the end of episode 6.